We've got a hot sode of macrodosing coming to you today. Before we get into it, I want to talk to you about something kind of serious. BetterHelp is one of our biggest sponsors here at Macrodosing. BetterHelp is a great company. They're helping everybody out with mental health. Even if you think that you might not need therapy, it's always beneficial to talk to somebody. If you've been thinking about speaking with a therapist, now is the right time to do it. It's very easy. One of the best things that happens to us at our job is when somebody reaches out and says, hey, I had been dealing with anxiety or I've been dealing with some personal issues, and I reached out, I got somebody to talk to, and it's really benefited me personally. I always love hearing those stories because the best way to think about therapy is like an analogy. We get our cars tuned up to prevent bigger issues down the road. We get annual checkups and we go to the gym so that we can maintain physical wellness and prevent injury and disease, and we do chores regularly to avoid a giant mess of a house. Going to therapy is like all the above. It's maintenance for your mental and emotional wellness to prevent bigger issues down the road. So therapy doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It means that you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. And Barstool Sports agrees they're offering BetterHelp services to their employees as an added benefit to help take care of their overall well-being. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy. It offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Why invest in everything else and not your mind? So Macrodosing is brought to you by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/dose. You get 10% off. Give it a shot. I think it'll help a lot of people out there. Go to betterhelp.com/dose. Now, here's macrodosing.
So these guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people t-shirts that are up for sale.
From us?
No.
Oh.
Don Jr.
Oh my God.
Donnie G.
Wait, what just happened?
He said Donald Trump Jr. is selling shirts that say guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people.
Wait, what the hell is politics? What do we do? What's going on?
Well, Alec Baldwin's a big time lib.
Like anytime a Baldwin or like a liberal celebrity like has a tragedy happen, we're gonna like put t-shirts on. We're gonna set up a new Etsy shop.
Do you think somebody should go to jail for that?
Yes.
Who?
Whoever the prop director
That's what
was.
I think too. Like he didn't.
Yeah, of course not. He's an actor. You hand him a gun and he's
Also
gonna point it at something and shoot it because that's what he does.
Also,
He's the producer, right?
Was he?
yeah,
Yeah, I think he's the producer.
he's
on the movie.
liable for the whole thing anyway.
I mean, I don't think like I'm not a giant Alec Baldwin fan. I don't care one way or another about him, but it's weird to be like, yes, I'm so glad that Alec Baldwin killed a person.
Should we put this in the show?
Probably
Sure.
not.
Yeah, why not? But isn't that weird how people are like, yeah, this is fucking awesome.
Also-
Ha ha ha. Alec Baldwin shot and killed someone.
Our special effects are so good nowadays that you don't even need to be firing off prop guns.
They said all the John Wicks, there isn't a single real gun on set for any of them.
Yeah, that's
That
'cause-
just looks completely real every single time you watch
Yeah.
those movies.
And Keanu Reeves is like a real gun guy, so he doesn't
Right. Yeah,
want to
they go
fuck
through
around.
crazy training for those. Like Halle Berry had to do crazy. Like they all do crazy training.
Yep,
so they're
Turan
good.
Tactical.
And then they use plastic guns on set. Like it's insane.
Yeah, but that's because they respect the weapons.
Exactly. You know, we're agreeing. It's
Yeah.
just I don't understand why. What's the name of this movie? Rust. Like they can't finish filming. Like this movie's never gonna come out now, right?
I mean, I don't know. The Crow came out.
Which one was the Crow?
That was Bruce Lee's son.
Okay,
that was in
that's
that
what I thought.
movie, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
in like the late 90s. And then at the end, the main actor got shot with a prop gun that had a little bit of like a bullet fragment still in it.
Right.
And he died from that, and they still put the movie out. And he was the main guy in the movie. So I don't know. They might put it out.
Alec Baldwin's got to be like. I mean, imagine if that was you. You just shot somebody.
If I shot somebody? Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to put out a statement like, hey, I heard that the director of cinematography had information that would lead to the arrest and conviction of Hillary Clinton.
Alec Baldwin was a hitman.
Yeah. That's the next step in this whole process. I don't know. Does anybody actually love Alec Baldwin? Even like mega libs.
I think the libs do. Yeah.
You think the libs like
I
him?
think they really do.
I think Justin Bieber.
When SNL couldn't get any of their own cast members to do anything, and they just had him playing Trump, he became a hero.
That's true. Yeah, he was the Trump guy, and honestly, the impressions that he was doing of Trump, they weren't that far off. But Trump himself is much funnier than Alec Baldwin is pretending to be Trump.
Oh yeah,
that's what the problem is. You can't have somebody do an impression. The only impression that I've heard that's funnier than Trump is, I think, Shane Gillis's impression of Donald Trump.
He does it well.
It's funnier than Donald Trump, but everybody else, it's like, no, I'd rather just listen to Donald go off for 30 minutes on whatever's on the top of his head.
Did SNL ever ask Trump while he was in office if he'd do the show? I'm sure he would have.
Yes, 1,000,000%. He would have hosted every week.
Do it? Didn't he do it when he was campaigning?
Running, right?
When he was running, not when he
president.
was. I mean, when he was running, he was on every show NBC had.
Remember
Jimmy
when they
Fallon
tried
was,
to cancel
kissing his
Jimmy
head.
Fallon for fucking not
rubbing his
being
head?
an asshole to him?
For rubbing the top of his head? Yeah.
Not being an asshole is a bit of a stretch. Like, he was like petting him like a dog. It was peculiar. If he did that to Biden, it would have been like, no matter who he did that to, it was fucking
Yeah,
weird.
I guess that's weird. But
Well, they're testing his hair.
Yeah. But
Everyone thinks his hair is fake, which is.
But you're right. I think that Donald Trump would have been on NBC nonstop if they had offered him, hey, like, would you like to do a nightly show, like prime time? Just you giving your thoughts on just whoever from the I want you commentating on everything that was said about you today for an hour nonstop, 8 p.m. every night, NBC. Trump would have been like, yes, absolutely, let's do it. It'll be the best show ever.
So are we making a macrodosing page for his new Truth social media? I think, we have to.
Oh yeah, I want to talk. I wish. We got to wait till Arian comes on to talk about that.
We got to corner
Trump book, Trump Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to. No, but like we need, it's a new social media platform.
We do need to get that.
Erica said that we need to be in there early on any new social media platform. I think we should get in on
I'm
that.
getting at Big T. This we got to get in early.
We need to dominate that space.
Yeah.
All right.
People are already on there.
No.
Does it exist yet?
No, because someone took Donald Trump's
Right.
Oh, that's tough.
username,
That's really tough. You got to get there early.
and then they deleted the whole thing and started again so he can get it.
I think that this is very funny. But they're going to run into the exact same problem. We're going to have this happen over and over and over again, where Trump book is going to open up, and then they're going to have to start banning people, because if you're a social media platform, it turns out you can't just let everybody say exactly what they want to say all the time, because that can lead to a lot of illegal things. And so then they're going to start banning people, and then there'll be another offshoot of Trump book being like, we're the real MAGA book, and they're going to have to start their own media company, and then eventually they'll start banning people. It's just whack-a-mole. That's all it's going to be.
It's the Chan model of 460 or 4816. Like, it just keeps getting deeper.
Truth.
Why has Alex Jones not started a social media platform yet?
Because he probably is too drunk
to
pull off any large-scale project management right now.
How much money does he have?
Alex Jones? Well, he's getting sued. He just lost a major ruling, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Like, does he have
in the Sandy Hook thing?
Does he have enough money to? Because honestly, from my heart of hearts, I know he's a very controversial character, but I just want him to go out and live just like comfortably.
One of these,
like an old lion walking
like
off
a rabbit
from the pride.
Yeah.
One of these net worth websites that you never know if they're right or not, but it says 5 million. That sounds about right to me.
No, that feels low to me.
You think?
I think he's got more than that. I also think that Alex Jones definitely has some mayonnaise jars filled with gold and cash buried in various backyards around the greater Austin area. That there's no question about that. Alex Jones probably has more money underground than he has in a bank right now. So I think he'll be okay. But they're definitely going to come after all the money that he has on the books for all these lawsuits. And he probably deserves to pay out every single penny of that too.
I also feel like with this Trump page now, it's like when you advertise that you can say whatever you want. I feel like that's when people really say whatever they want. Like Twitter forever, you could have said whatever you wanted for a long time, but people wouldn't, go to super lengths. Like obviously you get random people, but now I feel like everyone's just going to be like, oh, I can say this because Trump said I could. So
like there was a Whitest Kids You Know sketch a while ago. Very funny sketch comedy group. If you guys haven't heard of them yet, you should go back and watch some of their old videos. But the video was a guy looking at the camera. He's like, I just wanted to let you guys know that it is illegal to say that I'm going to kill the president of the United States. You can't say that, but you can say that it's illegal to say I am going to kill the president of the United States. And he kept repeating over and over in the video, like, I am going to kill the president of the United States, but in like various contexts. So it wasn't him directly saying it. It was always like alluding to how exactly he was going to kill the president of the United States. It's a very funny video, but you can't say, there's certain things that like you can't say online ever because people will take them as threats. And then the website that's hosting them becomes responsible to a certain degree after they get big enough. So yeah, people are just going to end up getting banned from Trump book. Then there's going to be Trump 2. Then there's going to be Trump Jr. book. Then there's going to be Ivanka book. And then there's going to be Jared book, and nobody will sign up for that.
Then wait till Barron book comes out.
Oh, no, Barron book. I'm in on Barron book. Is he getting D1 offers yet?
I heard that he's got Oscar Schlatters.
Oh, I had that too. You can get past that.
He's growing so fast.
Yeah, well, that's not
honestly,
why I got it.
Honestly, literally, I heard that because the kid he used to I actually have inside sources.
Okay, go off.
Basically, someone saw him with a knee brace and shorts when he used to go to a school in New York City.
So he's wearing a knee brace.
Like Oscar Schlatter knee braces.
Okay, first of all, it's called Osgood Slaughters. Osgood Schlatters, I think is the name of it. And it's a thing where you get like little bone growths right below your kneecaps. I've still got it pretty bad on my right kneecap, but it's if you play sports when you're a kid, a lot of times you develop those. Yeah. And it's not a big deal. I would bet that a lot of professional athletes, a lot of D1 athletes have
People who grow fast, because I remember my cousin had it. Yeah.
Well, again, I had it, so that's probably not always the case.
You probably grew fast, but just for a very short period of time.
Thanks, Billy. Yeah. But yeah, Barron, he's got to be getting some offers by now. Hopefully he's okay. Maybe he's wearing a preventative knee brace like an offensive lineman does.
I mean, I feel bad for the kid.
What would be the funniest position in sports for Barron Trump to get really awesome at?
Like running back,
turning into Porzingis.
Yeah, running back. Imagine like giant ass. He's like Derrick Henry size, right? And he's wearing
way taller than him.
Yeah, and he's rocking Trump on the back of his jersey, just like running people over in the NFL. So it would be very, very funny.
Tennessee fans will know Jalen Hurd, who was running back at UT and now plays receiver for the 49ers. But I played against him in high school, and he was my height. He was 6'5", and like just in high school he was definitely like he was built, but not like an NFL player would be, like kind of skinny, and like he just looked so ridiculous. And then he got out there and he'd just run into a pile, and then he'd just come right out of it and just run. He was a 6'5" running back, and like everywhere in college wanted him to play receiver, and he was like, no, I'm only playing running back.
So what he ended up just sticking at?
So he went to Tennessee, and Butch Jones played him over Alvin Kamara, which probably shouldn't have been happening.
Yeah, probably not.
And now he's a receiver for the 49ers, but he hasn't played in a game yet. He's been like hurt for 2 years.
So I think it'd be hilarious if Barron Trump became a tight end, like just a dominant.
He's too tall.
What do you mean he's too tall?
He's too tall. The kid's 6'7". He's 15. He's going to be about. I'd say he'd end up 6'10".
So are you saying that's too tall to be a dominant tight end?
Exactly.
Why?
Never happened.
There's just a point in football where you get too tall that it's counterintuitive.
Why would it ever be bad?
Wins.
Why would it ever be bad to be?
Low man wins.
I get that. I'm not asking him to stay in and block on 3rd and 1. I'm asking him to.
He wouldn't get off the line.
Run directly out to the end zone and then catch a fade.
Yeah, he just gets shoved off like every single route.
You think LeBron would be bad in the NFL?
I think he'd be better. I think he'd be built better than Barron.
You don't know that Barron hasn't even reached puberty yet, and he's almost 6'10".
But you can't, like, frames like that can't support football weight and mass.
Harold Carmichael.
Who?
Carmichael. Harold Carmichael.
Unless he's a left tackle. Like, there's our 6'10" left.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Al Villanueva he's a pretty good tackle.
But that's different. That's a totally different type of body build. Like, Barron is, like, spindly. Like, he's built like Porzingis.
Yeah, but he can put on weight. Isn't his
mother Latvian?
Yeah, he can put on weight. Well, I don't know what country she's from. She's from Eastern Europe. Big T?
I don't think it's Latvia. It's
Slovenia? Slovakia?
Slovenia sounds right.
And there's like basketball players from there.
Yeah, the Balkans, and the Balkans have a lot of good basketball players. I mean, Trump in the NBA would be very funny too.
I said as a hockey goalie, he'd be hilarious.
He would be. Coley, what do you think would happen if, let's just say that Barron Trump was projected to be Zion 2.0, even better than Zion, maybe. You think there's any team that would avoid drafting him because they don't want to draft Barron Trump?
Teams definitely would for sure. But the Mavericks would be this is really pushing it.
I mean, if Barron started,
plenty of other teams like the Kings wouldn't give a shit.
Right. The ghost of Donald Sterling would be like, yeah, let's trade up.
Yeah, I was saying Harold Carmichael, he played for the Eagles. He was a 20-time Pro Bowler, Eagles Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. He's 6'8". I feel like
but Barron's gonna be way taller than 6'7". He's gonna be he's 15, he's 6'7". He's probably gonna end up around close to 7 foot.
I think it's just absurd for you to say that Barron Trump at 6'10" would never be a great tight end. I think that if you're 6'10" and you're able to put on weight and get strong, you could definitely play tight end.
Do you see his frame? He does not have the frame to.
All right, I'm gonna Google Barron Trump's frame right now.
He doesn't have the frame to I could see him being a power forward in the NBA or shooting guard, but he doesn't have the footwork, agility. You can just tell by the way he walks.
You think you don't need footwork and agility to play shooting guard in the NBA?
No, but I'm saying.
Okay, I'm looking at this picture right now. It's Trump, Melania, and then it's Barron walking behind them in front of the helicopter, in front of Marine One. He already looks like a tight end. This guy looks like he played 3 years at Notre Dame.
Shoulders,
and now he's in the NFL, and he's catching
his
touchdowns.
His shoulders are so skinny. He doesn't have a football player body at all.
He could definitely be a football player. I'm telling you. Just keep an eye out.
Skinny.
He's kind of slight of frame. He doesn't have the build.
He's also 15 years old.
Yeah, but look at LeBron at 15 years old.
Okay, I think it's fair to say
Rob Gronkowski at 15 years old.
Barron Trump or LeBron James, who do you think a better athlete is?
I'm just saying I don't think would have any durability.
We can't say he's gonna be 6'10". I was 6'5" at 14. I'm still 6'5" right now. It doesn't necessarily mean he's on a trajectory to keep growing 5 more inches.
But he needs to work on a lot of the ball handling skills that you might need, and just in case he doesn't grow anymore. We still want him to be able to be a good 2.
If he could be. I would see him. It's more probable. Everything is crazy what we're saying, but it's more probable he turns into Kevin Durant than he does a tight end in the NFL.
So much,
one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
It's more probable that Barron Trump becomes the greatest scorer in NBA history than it is.
Well, look at his build.
That he's able to make one of 32 teams as a tight end.
Eric Trump.
Yeah,
I think would be a better tight end.
Okay, you're insane.
Who's the tight end for Mo Ali Cox? Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
He was a basketball player at VCU, and they were like, "Fuck it, you look like you can play tight end."
Yes.
And he played in the NFL. I think he might still be.
Yeah, he played last night. He got a touchdown last night.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think tight end might be the single easiest position to become a pro athlete.
No.
Single easiest.
No.
Billy's so mad.
Listen, Billy, there's never been not one college football player who they just said, hey, you could probably play in the NBA. Not once. They do it consistently with bad college basketball.
None of those. No. They literally, those basketball player tight ends never are able to grasp the blocking. And Jimmy Graham was never able to block.
He's a terrible blocker.
He's good, though.
No, but literally they put him in as tight ends because they're not good enough to be wide receivers.
I didn't say they were good blockers. All I said was they'd be professional tight ends. I never said they'd be good. But there are
everyone says tight ends. Everyone's making tight ends literally to be one of the best to be a good tight end. You have to be able to block and do everything a left tackle can do, and a fullback, be able to catch and be athletic enough to make plays.
So you think Travis Kelce's a bad tight end? That's what you just said.
I don't think he'll ever be Gronkowski.
Well, no shit. He's the best tight end of all time. I didn't say basketball play. I didn't say it was the easiest to become the best in the world.
I don't respect him. I don't respect Travis Kelce.
Oh shit! You don't respect him?
I respect Jeremy Shockey.
You don't respect Travis Kelce.
I don't respect Travis Kelce as a tight end.
What do you think he is? Just a fat wide receiver?
I just think he's.
So I want to go back. What is the easiest position to play in professional sports then, if it's not tight end?
I didn't even say play. I just said become.
The easiest.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what is that then?
I would say the easiest position to pick up and be able to make a squad if you're an athlete would probably be long snapper.
No, I think you're batshit out of your mind. Actually,
I think you don't know what long snappers like.
As someone who long snapped,
do you know what they have to be able to do? Like at the professional
consistently
level,
do it perfectly every single time.
At the professional level, they put the exact number of rotations on the ball during their snap every single time, so it arrives to their holder, ready to be put down, so the laces go out.
Right.
They have it down to a science.
The thing is to do that. If you took the time and did that time after time after time, that is one skill. Yes, you have to be very good at it, but if you're doing that one skill for 3 hours, you're going to get much more utility out of that 3 hours than if you were to teach a tight end to block, catch,
but they don't
run routes.
You don't have to teach athletes to catch. Like most humans know how to catch. And like to long snapper, there's 32 jobs like at max. There's 3-4 tight ends on a team. Like it's not easier to be a long snapper.
To make a team.
That's all I said. I never said be the best in the world at it. All I said was be on the team. Like Mo Alley-Cox is not a top 30 tight end in the NFL right now. He's serviceable. He starts. He's good, but he's not the best tight end on his own team, but he's in the league. He gets paid to be professional tight end. That's all I said. I didn't say it would be super easy for Barron Trump to be Kevin Durant or Rob Gronkowski.
Okay.
Those were my parameters.
Here's something that might throw you in a bind with that logic. Calvin Benjamin.
I'm sure it won't. Yeah, he was bad.
But he was transitioning to be a tight end.
That's just because he got fat.
But he was a wide receiver. He should have the skills to become a good tight end. We also
don't know he would have been a bad tight end. The coach just didn't want him.
Yeah, I also think that Billy's right to a certain extent. There are too many tight ends that try to, like former basketball players, they try to make work as a tight end. And they're just
because they do it to a lot of them.
They do it to too many guys.
Remember,
they do it to too many guys. There was a guy at George Mason back when they made the Final Four. Remember that back in like 2006? Yeah. And this guy was he's a thick dude. He was able to box out really well, but wasn't a great like NBA prospect by any means. So they started working him out as a tight end, and I think he ran like a 5.3 40 at the combine.
That was also a different NFL where they weren't targeting tight ends as much as they do now.
Right.
He probably was being relied to block more than they would from Mo Alley-Cox.
It was they were just trying to find the next Antonio Gates at that point.
But think about how many basketball players who don't make the NBA that they try to make tight ends.
How many? Like
a lot, because a lot of guys.
You can't just say that though. If we're talking like actual things that have happened, you can't just say a lot.
Chris Herron's son right now is trying. He was a basketball player at BC, and he's now trying to play football at Alabama.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I just saw that recently. I was like, what? And he's never played football before in his life.
Listen, I'll give you that. If that one probably won't work out, I agree with you there.
That's one example. There's probably tons of
the Washington football team just gave big money to a guy who had never seen a football in his life this offseason.
Sammis Reyes. Yeah. Still haven't seen much of him on the field yet.
Probably won't.
Well, not year one. I don't my argument was never like you're going to be an all pro if you had just all I said was it's the easiest league to make at the easiest position to make for people who have never played that sport before or even in general.
What about Draymond Green?
Oh, the one Michigan State practice highlight tape you saw?
No,
did he catch 2 touchdowns in that practice too? They only just show you the bad block.
Insane.
Yeah. So what position would you think would be easier, Billy?
He thinks long snapper.
Long snapper is definitely not the right
So
answer.
like baseball, there isn't one. Baseball's completely out. Hockey's completely out.
Yeah.
Wait, is baseball completely out?
Yeah, you can't hit. Nobody who has never played baseball can walk into a major league field and even touch a ball.
What about a pitcher?
You can't do that either.
What about somebody with tremendous arm strength? What about a quarterback that's never thrown a baseball?
Quarterbacks throw like 65 miles an hour.
Yeah, but that's because it's a football. It's not because their arm speed is slower.
Yeah, you can't. Pitching is you can't walk onto a baseball field.
Knuckleballer.
No, nope. That's even harder.
You could learn a knuckleball. I'm convinced that if you gave me 10 years, if you gave most average athletic people, I think I was talking to Hank about this a while back. If you took an average athlete, maybe played competitive sports growing up, like put them in a cabin in the woods for 10 years with, I don't know, like Tim Wakefield or Ari Dickey or somebody, and just had them train to throw a knuckleball, I think most could be able to do it. Because you don't have to throw. Tim Wakefield threw what, like 60 miles an hour?
His fastball would hum in there at like mid 70s.
Yeah. So I feel like knuckleballer might be the easiest to do. But
you even just said it would take 10 years. Like Antonio Gates just showed up at the Chargers and was all pro.
Yeah, we're talking about picking it up right today.
Okay. All right. So, okay, I would agree. Baseball's probably out.
Baseball and hockey are out.
Yeah.
Basketball's extremely out.
Yeah, it's football is the only one that you could even.
It's only football, and I don't know. Like, there's no any defense. You're just going to be a liability. You can't play line. Certainly can't be quarterback. I guess you could, if PFF is right, you could just be running back.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I think the right answer is? I think it's punter.
I was just going to say that. Punter, I think, is the one.
I think that's wrong, too.
I think that is, by the logic of long snapper, I think punter is so wrong.
I disagree. I think that there are people that grew up playing soccer that were goalies that have been punting for a long time. There are a lot of people overseas that in the sport they play, they have to punt. It would definitely take some practice, and it would take a lot of time to get it perfect and get the details right.
The Falcons a couple weeks ago had to put Young Wei Koo into punt because our punter got hurt, and he's a professional kicker, and he couldn't punt.
But there's a difference between kicking and punting.
Right, but that's somebody who has all the requisite skills.
I'm closer to leaning to place kicker than I am punter.
No.
But all those European guys you talk about, they don't punt; they place kick.
The
Australians.
I'm talking about the Australians. They're all punters.
I was thinking of the soccer. Well, you were saying soccer. So
no, but kicking a soccer ball off the ground is a lot different from kicking a football off the ground. It's got like a different sweet spot.
No doubt. But like the Aguayos of the world, I know he didn't exactly pan out, but they had a soccer background. And I think it's because like punting, you have so many, it's just so fast. You got to be able to catch it. You got to be able to take your strides. Like there's so much going on, whereas place kicking, like the ball's just sitting there theoretically.
Mm-hmm. I think it's easy. I don't know. I think punting would be easier to pull off at the professional level because it's also a timing thing. But with place kicking, people forget that you don't know where the ball is going to be exactly until the second they put it down. Like that's a pretty big adjustment that every kicker has to make on their very last step as they're approaching the ball. Is like, okay, well, where am I swinging my leg to? It's way easier to just kick a stationary ball than one that has a human being catch it and then put it down.
Wait, this might sound stupid, but do NFL kickers start their walk-up before the ball gets there?
They start it usually as the ball's in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first step is with the left foot. It's almost like a step in place, and then right foot, and then plant foot.
Because I just remember in high school every time the ball would be down first before anyone would try to kick it.
Yeah, because the rushers don't come clean. Or they don't come as fast in high school as they do in the NFL.
Do it, yeah.
What's stopping a team from just starting the kick? I understand the further back you are, the lower chance you are. But most of these field goals are like in the 30s and 40s. Why not just put it back like 3 extra yards, buy yourself more time so that you can make sure it's down? I'm sure your percentage would actually go up.
That's not a bad question. It might be one of those things. It might be one of those things where it's like teams have just done it at 7 yards for so long. That's what it is, and that's what they do. But yeah, you could. I think in theory you could back it up. You could make it like 10 yards behind.
Yeah,
I think it would mess up the unit though if you're making adjustments.
I'm saying practice it this way. I'm not saying like don't tell anyone.
I know, but I'm saying like for example, when you do get to those long field goals, you want to hit because we're now in a freak show of kicking where we're getting Justin Tucker hitting, how much was it? 66?
Yeah.
Did y'all see the video of the high school kid in Alabama? It was like a 73-yard field goal.
Yeah.
And it was maybe a yard short.
Yeah. But
now granted they kick off like
they kick off a block.
So, but I mean, okay, take 8 yards off of it. Like
still pretty impressive.
It's ridiculous.
I think Coley's onto something. I think that if you did back it up, you worked with a long snapper and made it, so he was practiced and he could get it to you at 10 yards. It's not a bad idea. Because I've noticed that it's a miracle that more kicks aren't blocked. Would these guys come up? Actually, that's the answer to the question. The easiest position to make would be an edge rusher on special teams field goal block unit. You just get a sprinter. You get the fastest guy that you can find, line him up out wide, and be like, just sprint as fast as you can directly to the spot. That's Beamer ball, baby. That's what Frank Beamer used to do. He'd just go to track practice and be like, send me your 5 fastest kids. I'm just going to have them try to block kicks.
Now, quick question. So we've gotten very off the mark. Can we teach Barron Trump to do any of these things we just talked about?
I think you can teach Barron Trump to run a good route, yeah.
He won't be able to get off the jam.
He's 15, Billy. You can teach him skills.
I know 15-year-olds.
Is he really still that young?
I don't know.
Yeah, I just looked it up. He was born in 2006.
That's outrageous.
Barron Trump's reaching the age where he might be spending some time on barstoolsports.com.
Yeah.
I think you got to get Barron in motion. Like, you can't leave him just standing at the line. Like, I get he'll get jammed there. Yeah. But you have to get him. If you get him in motion, I think you got a good chance of getting him open for sure.
I think I'm going to start blogging blogs for an audience of one for Barron Trump. Like, Barron, I know that you're probably just now getting to use the internet without any sort of restrictions on it. I would just like to guide you through the next several years of your life because I feel like you need a friend, Barron. And it's my mission to get you to the NFL.
If I was a corner on Barron Trump, I would jam the shit out of him.
Yeah?
And he wouldn't get off the line.
You don't think he could escape that?
No.
I think that might be one of the most overblown things. Like, I see wide receivers run free every Sunday.
Because they're
every
good.
Sunday, wide receivers. No, that's not just it. Like, a bad, like, fucking N'Keal Harry running free. Like, they don't.
That's because they don't jam every play.
I understand that. Well, I don't know why you think Barron's getting the Revis treatment.
A good college football coach could get Barron Trump wide open.
Fucking McVay. McVay's got him running wild on the secondary.
Yep. You just got to you got to use his skill set.
You got to scheme him open.
Yeah, he's that type of talent. So Barron,
you get the ball to BT and big things are happening, let me tell you.
He would take a lot of late hits. He would there would be some guys that would be
Barron Trump
playing through the Ian whistle on Barron.
He would
NFL
get
blitz style hits.
laid out over the middle. Like, he's such a huge target.
Yeah.
His hit zone is like huge.
Yeah, there would be some players that see Barron coming across the middle and they're like, this one's not gonna be on Sports Center, but this is gonna be on the low light, like the most devastating hits of 2025, the compilation that gets put out on YouTube.
What's the opposite of like a hospital ball? Like Peyton Manning, Anthony Gonzalez hospital ball. Like that, if he had Drew Brees or like Derek Carr as his quarterback, he's throwing him away from all harm every single pass.
Yes. Arch Manning and Barron Trump. Those are two guys.
Fuck yeah.
You build your franchise around those two. Lock up Super Bowls. It would just be so fucking funny to see like Roger Goodell handing the Lombardi Trophy to Barron Trump.
Is all this going in the show?
Yeah.
We've just been.
This is good conversation.
And honestly, Barron, if you're listening, you're 15 years old. You got so much of your life ahead of you. Don't let
Billy has no faith in your NFL prospects.
Don't let some assholes talking into a microphone let it phase you.
Yeah, there you go. I think we can all check our politics at the door and agree that it would be funny to see Barron Trump.
It takes a village.
Succeed athletically, and we're here to support you as a human being, regardless of political affiliation. It'd also be funny if Barron turned out to be a giant lib.
I was gonna say him kneeling for the anthem.
That would be great. Yeah. What do you think about that, Big T? Any possibility?
I think everyone should do whatever they want.
Okay, I like that.
He grew up in New York and D.C. He probably is.
All right, so welcome back to Macrodosing. This is a great episode that we have right now. We're down a man and down a woman. Arian is not here today. He had a doctor's appointment. And did I just make that up? He had some sort of an appointment.
Yeah, I read appointment.
Appointment. I may have filled in mentally doctor's appointment. He had a massage appointment. I don't know. Actually, that probably sounds worse. He had some sort of an appointment he had to attend to. Madeline is not here. I don't know. Is she coming in? Okay.
No, she's not.
No Mad Dog today, but that just means we got the boys in the studio, and we're going to be joined by a very special guest, Rick Ness. Rick Ness is a gold miner. He's a professional gold miner. You might have seen him on Discovery or Discovery Plus on the show Gold Rush. It's the #1 ranked show on Discovery for the last 12 seasons. So kind of a dynasty's building over there. We're going to get to him and talk about gold for a little bit. And we're going to talk about a little bit of gold here because Billy put together a very impressive fact sheet. Didn't you, Billy?
I did.
Billy came prepared today. He's got all sorts of facts. Big T, do you have any facts today?
I got you some facts.
That doesn't sound like you have a lot of facts.
I got facts.
So the Tennessee Minute, real quick. I don't think that we need to talk about Tennessee football as much because they lost the biggest rivalry. Most culturally significant rivalry in the South.
Correct.
They lost that again. It's been a few years.
I do want to say one thing though. I've never seen a game with a less indicative final score of how the game went.
It was closer than it looked. Yeah. In the second
it was 31-24 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that was after we punted on 4th and 1 at midfield down 7. That's like the only time this season I've been like, wow, Josh Heupel really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we lost 52-24, whatever. It's Alabama, but we played well.
I thought Hooker played pretty well for the most part.
He was great in the first half. He threw that one interception, but he was great.
Yep. Future Macrodosing.
How do you feel about Arian's point about the offense now that it's played a real defense in his eyes?
I mean, we scored 24 points, and that was with a turnover. Like we didn't. I think it's fine. We're gonna beat the living shit out of Kentucky, and we'll be back on track. We're gonna go 7-5.
7-5. I like it. Bowl game. Bowl eligible, baby.
Projected to play Clemson in the Duke's Mayo Bowl right now.
Oh,
if you'd have said at the beginning of the season Tennessee was going to play Clemson in a bowl game, they'd have put you in a mental hospital.
Definitely a mental hospital. So
we got to put our negotiating pants on too because Tyler's pressing us about Hendon now.
Yeah, he wants another bag.
He does.
Do you think Tyler's taking a cut of whatever cut comes to Hendon Hooker?
He might. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but we got a random DM from Tyler. I don't even remember what time it was. I think it was late, and he was just like, "So, what are you guys' thoughts on Hendon?" I'm like, "He's great, and we'll figure it out."
Yeah, I think that's a fair answer.
Yeah,
we can't just make these types of financial. We have to have a board meeting.
No, and we can't just go and be like, "Yeah, we really want him," because then the price of the bricks is going to keep going up.
Yeah, you have to be like, I have to wait for. It's always a great tip, by the way, if you're ever in a position at work where somebody asks you to make a decision, you have to say, I've got to get approval from my board on this one. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it's really just a bullshit phrase that you can say to avoid making a decision.
Yeah, and it makes you sound more like high up. It makes you really seem like you got some people behind you that are gonna.
Yeah. So Tyler, Hendon, we've got to talk to the board about it. We'll be back in touch.
I saw you tweeting about the game you were watching. You seemed a little excited when we got up 14-7.
I was very excited about that. I wanted Tennessee to win. I was rooting for you, man.
I appreciate that.
I really was because, what's good for Big T is good for America, I always say. A happy Big T is a pleasant Big T.
Like, how was this the easiest loss in Tennessee history for you to get over since you had the Braves the same day?
Yeah. I was out. I wore UT shit to the office because I was like, just, you only get 12 of those a year. And after the Braves won, we went out Saturday night and I was still in all my UT shit. I had a great time. Yeah, fuck that. Who cares? It's Alabama. We lose every year. Braves are in the World Series.
Okay, I like it. Feeling confident?
I feel really good, yeah. I think
would this be devastating if they lost another World Series? Like,
well, I've never seen them in a World Series.
Are you starting to regret that you've come this far? Because a loss in a World Series
would suck
stings.
Really, really bad. But they had no business getting here in the first place, and like they've gotten over. They've progressed each year. Like 19, we lost in the NLDS again. Then we finally get to the LCS last year. We blow that. Now we're in the World Series. If they lose, it'll be okay. I've never seen them play in a World Series, but obviously, just go ahead and fucking win it.
Okay, good luck.
Appreciate that.
Good luck. All right, so that was a Tennessee Minute. That was a quick Tennessee Minute. In and out. That's how it's supposed to be. Who do you have next week at Tennessee?
We're off this week, and then we have at Kentucky.
Okay, big week.
Big game.
Big game. All right, so gold. Let's talk some gold. Some gold facts back and forth, starting with Big T. Gold fact number 1, Big T.
The element for gold. Do you know what the symbol is?
Oh, AG.
AU.
No. Yep.
AU,
AU.
aurum comes from the Latin.
Oh, wow. Billy just came over the top of your fact with bonus fact.
Well, that was the fact.
That it comes from.
And he just cut in to show that he also had the fact.
I
Did
don't
you know
even
that
have
it's Latin?
fact. It's my head.
Yes.
For what?
Aurum, which means shining dawn or glow of sunrise.
Oh, wow. Billy. It's on you.
Also comes from the derivative for aura.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot.
Fact off.
That's actually fascinating. I didn't know that. So gold, aurum, that would make sense. That it's like a
So-
shiny halo type thing.
So the reason why gold has value is because it is the only metal, or one of the only metals that's commonplace, that does not oxidize, does not its appearance and like chemical makeup does not decompose over long periods of times. So if they wanted to have something of value that kept its original shape, color, and quality, gold was the best metal out of any of them. Stuff like copper oxidizes, turns green, rust, other metals rust, but gold was just stayed fast. It was sort of had a permanence that held a lot of value because a gold bar would stay like it is and stay mostly the same weight and size and dimensions unless like messed with. If it was just left alone, it keeps all of its qualities. So that's why it made such a good sort of medium to hold value, because it would never disappear or something like wouldn't happen to it. Like it wouldn't decompose in any way.
Okay, so it's good for building stuff with?
It's it's permanent. And that's what people liked about it, especially.
Okay. Interesting. Big T. Do you have any more facts?
Yeah, I've got a question for you. 1 ounce of gold
Yeah.
is about 28 grams. Do you know what would you guess if you stretch that into a thread, like a single strand thread, how long would that be?
How big is the thread? How thick is the thread? What gauge
I
are we
think
talking about?
I've got gold thread. That's what I've got.
I need to know what gauge gold thread
I think pretty thin.
Okay,
Like
pretty thin. Okay. So like maybe
like to use in
lock of
embroidery.
to stitch with. If I'm going to be
Something
stitching
like that,
stitching
yeah.
up with gold. I think that 1 ounce of gold could stretch from here to the moon.
You're a bit far.
I just like saying from here to the moon.
Halfway to the moon.
Halfway to the moon
It's 5 miles
and back. 5 miles. That's still pretty far.
Still long.
That's very far. That's as high as airplanes fly in the sky.
Yep.
So I think so, right? Yeah, that's about 6,000
That'd be
feet
like
times.
28,000.
Yeah, that's about right.
So
That's pretty high.
the amount of gold on Earth has increasingly been mined, but gold production and mining has increased. So even though the amount of gold on Earth has been extracted, we're extracting more of it every year.
Okay. Is there gold underneath the oceans?
We don't know.
I bet you there is.
I think that we're going to find a shit ton of natural resources in Antarctica when all this global warming stuff happens.
I bet you that there's some gold mines, some gold deposits in the ocean. And we actually get into this a little bit with Rick from Gold Rush. And he tells us where gold comes from and how it gets there and if we're going to get any more of it. Actually, stuff that I really had no idea about when it came to gold. When was the big gold rush, the first gold rush?
Gold was first mined in prehistory.
Okay.
So it was they found gold mines in Spain and Ireland as well as Eastern Europe. The Romans were very fond of gold, and they sort of try to find gold as wherever they could. The word carat, as in 24 karat, comes from the carob seed. In ancient Asian bazaars, the seeds were used to balance the scales that measured the weight of gold. So 24 karat referred to the density of the weight. So that was how they sort of used it to measure how much gold there is.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Big T, do you have any more facts? Gold facts?
I can give you one. Well, they say this is a fact. I don't think it's a fact. That nearly all the gold on Earth came from meteorites that bombarded Earth 200 million years after it was formed. Okay. Sure. Sure, that's what happened.
It's an alleged fact.
We just sat around for 200 million years and then some. Yeah, okay.
Now, there's
All
some,
right, pal.
there's some real shit out there floating through the galaxy, floating through the universe on comets, like some serious metals that it's just going through space, waiting for somebody to stake a claim on it. I would like to see mining of asteroids because that's where all the money is. Find you an asteroid, bring me an asteroid, and I will set you up with retirement for the rest of your life.
Well,
We need to go to Jupiter then.
there is the aspect is if we find too much gold, it's going to become worthless. Scarcity is one of the only reasons why it holds so much value.
Yeah, but okay, I get that if you flood the market with gold, but I think people would still build stuff with it. It might become a little bit less valuable, but if you still had an asteroid that was 25% gold, you're still doing all right.
And I also don't believe the scarcity correlation at all, because that was the main selling point of diamonds, which we've talked about a little bit in the past. And the price of diamonds has not gone down. We know how many more diamonds there are than we were led to believe initially. And that has not. The people who own all the gold are very rich. They're not going to lessen their wealth.
Right, but you guys saw Blood Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
They take all the diamonds and they hold it in a huge vault, and they only sell a couple of the diamonds, so it's artificial scarcity.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why but we know that. And it has not lowered the price of diamonds at all.
I also think that gold might be one of those things where the more you see it, the more you want more of it. Like if you see more and more people walking down the street wearing gold jewelry, you're like, I want some gold.
Well, remember when you saw the people trying to escape from Afghanistan in the Kabul airport, some of them had bars of gold that they were carrying with them. That's pretty wild.
Is gold bulletproof?
Probably not. Like if you shot a gold bar, it'd probably dent a little.
Yeah.
Scuff.
I would like to do that at some point.
Shoot a gold bar.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Some people think all the gold bars in Fort Knox are fake. And they're because you can only see when you walk into the room of Fort Knox, it's like stacked wall to wall with gold bars. So they think that only the front two
It's a veneer.
rows, are gold, and the rest is just like
Just
nothing.
whatever.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
you
just
can't-
like bricks.
You can't get to it unless you like
Where
away a
do you
couple-
stand on that, Billy? Do you think that the gold's real?
I don't know. It's the whole thing. So when you start to read about how gold and gold reserves were treated in war, so it turns out like if you invaded another country, you were just taking their gold reserves. That was the first thing you did.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of this whole game of, like if you look at medieval Europe, if you look at like a little after that in the colonial period and everything, like they're all just stealing each other's gold.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually want to hear who has the most gold? And it's actually will surprise you if you know a little history.
Okay.
So who do you think has the most gold?
Like
in the
what
world?
country?
Yeah. Let's do a guess. Who do you guys think has the top 5 gold reserves in the world?
Okay, I'm gonna guess Russia is on there for a couple reasons. One, they've got so much land area that they probably have a lot of mineable stuff. Asteroids seem to hit there every day, according to the various dash cams that I've seen. So I'm gonna go
But
Russia.
this is gold reserves.
Well, what's the difference?
Gold reserves is like in bars, in their treasuries,
Already mined.
already mined. Like they used to back when the gold standard was a thing. They used it to back a lot of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw out Ireland.
Ireland.
England,
Yeah.
Okay.
France,
China.
Okay.
Italy, Vatican City.
Oh, that's actually a good one.
Okay.
Are any of these correct, or are you just gonna keep saying okay?
Nope. So
They're all
we
wrong.
have. So number 5 is Russia.
Okay.
Number 4 is France.
Okay.
So they were correct.
So I got 2 so far.
Number 3 is Italy.
Okay, that's 3.
Number 1 is the U.S.
Okay.
Guess who's number 2?
Okay, I don't know.
Germany.
Germany's
How the hell does Germany have the second most gold? I like from that sort of thought process where they were saying that like when you get into wars, you just take each other's gold. Like Germany should have 0 gold.
Switzerland just held it for him for a while.
Yeah. Well, where the hell? Switzerland's 7.
Yeah.
China's 6. But the thing is, the U.S. has 8,000 metric tons of gold. Germany has 3.3 thousand. And then the IMF has 2.8. Italy has 2.4. France has 2.4. Russia has 2.2. China has 1.9. And then Switzerland has 1,000 metric tons.
I'm watching right now a video of a guy shooting gold.
Me too.
Yeah, I
Which
just
is-
watched that.
Yeah, you guys
It's
all
electric.
watch it?
Yeah.
Incredible. This guy just like sets up a brick of gold and just starts fucking
Demolition
it.
Ranch. Is that what you're watching?
Yeah, I'm watching Demolition Ranch.
Me too.
The top comment was killing me. It was like, we just can this 50 caliber pierce through the Mona Lisa.
He's got some awesome guns too that he's shooting it with.
Yeah, and then he's autographing the gold that he just shot. That's pretty fucking cool.
He says it loses 10% of value based on he estimates 10% of the gold was blown out of it by him shooting it. And then he says in the comments, since the price of gold has gone up since the video, he's auctioning it off for $52,000. Originally a $45,000 gold bar. Like, what a guy. That's a guy I would like to hang out with.
I'm subscribing to this YouTube
if you
channel.
If you like YouTube, first of all, just subscribe to us, Macrodosing. But Demolition Ranch, if you like seeing shit get blown up and different things with guns, he is by far the best on YouTube.
I do like that, Avery.
This guy's like, he's just blowing up gold, and then this gold is now worth 10% less depending on how shot it is. That's a standard industry thing. But if I shoot it, it actually gets more expensive because I have 10 million subscribers on YouTube.
You know who has like zero gold? The United Kingdom.
Oh, really? Those bitches?
Yeah, they have like 310 metric tons.
Why?
I don't know. I think the U.S. took all their gold.
I think that the UK is a fraud empire. I think they've always been frauds. I think
Call them out.
Yeah, no, they are. Like, yeah, you used to have, territories in every single time zone. You used to colonize places. But you had this little bitch ass island. You tell me that you were invading everywhere in the world, but you're still going to stay in your foggy little shit island where everyone's miserable all the time? No, if you actually had the manpower to travel around the world and dominate other cultures and civilizations, you would have gone to one of the better places to live. You wouldn't have stayed in the little United Kingdom area. I feel like you would have taken the first opportunity that you had. You would have seen the Australian coast and you'd been like, yeah, I'm going to go there. Instead, you're saying it should reverse. You should have sent all your prisoners to the UK and then you should have lived on the Gold Coast in Australia. I don't know. I don't respect the British Empire. I just don't. Never have. Probably never will.
Talk that shit, King. You know what the most celebrated holiday in the world is?
No.
Independence from Great Britain.
Is it?
I read that somewhere. That's probably not true. But...
No, that I can see that. So like each country has an individual Independence Day from Britain.
Seriously,
so many have them.
How could they just dominate, like India, for example? They were vastly outnumbered in India. Their tiny little island was a speck of dust halfway across the world.
I mean,
they're little bitches.
No, I mean,
did India read The Art of War? I think that's your answer.
Yeah, they didn't. And obviously they had like guns and stuff that they brought over and violently subjugated them. But I'm just saying, like, I think England was only doing that because they were acting out this whole time. They were just angry at themselves. And so the old saying is hurt people, Coley. And I think that growing up on the island of England, I know that's not the actual island, but I'm going to call it that because I'm being disrespectful intentionally. Growing up in that shitty environment just makes people want to lash out. They have to pretend like they're being gentlemen all the time. And they're like, you know what? I'm just secretly very angry on the inside, and I can't wait to go to a different country and completely enslave whatever people they have there.
They built an empire off anti-vaxxing.
Yes, that's true. Billy, what were you going to say?
Yeah, England sold all their gold to us during World War II.
Really?
I'm sort of getting really obsessed with like where all this gold's going.
So it just gets transferred around the world like
so
that,
basically when during World War II, almost like a bunch of countries sent all their gold to Canada, US, and other places. France sent their gold to Senegal in order to keep it safe.
So that's why England sent their gold to us, so we keep it safe, and we just didn't give it back?
Well, then they like needed loans and shit, so then we just took in collateral. Pretty sure. But then I think FDR bought all the gold.
Yeah, so I guess we were just saying we're not going to go to war until you give us all your gold. And then once we've bled you dry, then we'll jump in.
Yeah, Executive Order 6102 is an executive order signed on April 5th, 1933 by FDR forbidding the hoarding of gold coin, gold bullion, gold certificates. And so because of the Great Depression, hoarding of gold, they basically bought all the gold. Huh. Very cool.
Do you guys own any gold?
No.
Nope.
Jewelry.
Yeah, you got a chain?
Yeah, I got a gold rope. You've definitely seen that.
I probably have. I don't own any gold. I would like to. I feel like I'm not a man. Like I don't own any land. I don't own any gold. I don't own a firearm anymore.
And he was going to say.
Well, you live in New York City. They'll put the kibosh on that real quick.
Yeah, I had to turn it in. I had to surrender my firearm.
Actually, if you become part of the housing authority in New York, you can get a firearm.
Okay.
But that it's not even law enforcement.
It's just housing authority?
It has something to do with having to evict people from public housing.
At gunpoint.
Yeah. Wait, so if I want to kick people out of their own homes at gunpoint, then I have to work for the housing authority?
Something like that.
I don't think that's true.
No, in New York, people who can own guns.
That's right. That's definitely right.
So yeah, there are different exemptions that you have, but I just feel like I'm missing all the big ones of being an actual man in the world. You know, like growing up and.
No, that's for concealed carry.
Okay.
So anyone who is 21 years old or above and has an American citizenship can buy a gun in New York City.
Yeah, you can have one. You just can't do anything with it or carry it ever. Or
Yeah. What else would I need to become a man?
Unless you're a criminal.
I'm not subscribed to any various like monthly shaving kit boxes. I feel like that's another big
Sponsored
thing
by them,
that
though.
guys do. Yeah. Like the man box. Once a month, we're going to send you a different whiskey glass and a pocket knife. Welcome to being a man.
That actually sounds like a cool business.
It's good to be a guy. Manbox.com. Actually, don't go there. Don't go to that website. Something tells me you might uncover something that you weren't necessarily searching for. But that's fine.
Your hair's big.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also, I don't know, get mistaken from a woman for, if somebody comes up from behind.
How long has your hair been like that?
7 years, I think. Yeah, about 7 years.
Where was the start? Like, how long was it when you just like committed to the bit?
It was like Billy's length.
Okay.
My hair was real short. Yeah, it looked like a Marine.
Manbox.com is a free domain, so we could try to get it if we want.
We should get manbox.com.
We should.
And just use it to sell macrodosing stuff.
Yeah, and also that product, I feel like people would buy it.
Yeah, shaving soap delivered straight to your door by a hot secretary-looking girl. Manbox.com.
For men.
For men. So, any more gold facts, Billy?
There's a ton.
I want to learn about the gold standard. That's what I want to learn about.
So money dollar bills used to be representative of their value in gold.
Yep.
But the government owned all the gold.
Now those are called greenbacks, right?
Yeah.
I think they were called greenback dollars, and they represent a specific amount. They were gold certificates.
Yeah. So 78% of the world's yearly supply of gold is used in jewelry.
So wait. Back when it was representative of a bar of gold, could I in theory take like a $20 bill, a $20 gold certificate, and show up to Fort Knox and say I would like gold for this?
In theory.
Okay.
But I don't think they let you.
I got to say one more thing about this Manbox thing.
Yeah,
there's a website, man-box.com, and their slogan is "Be a man, get a box."
Call them. We want them to advertise.
I want to buy that domain too. I want to corner the market on man boxes. Man box. We've got stones that you put in your freezer and they get cold like ice cubes, and then you put them in your whiskey tumbler. Manbox.com. I feel like I could come up with a million different things to put in a man box. Make your own jerky. Man box.
The bow and arrow kit that you build, you make the arrows yourself.
Yeah.
The whiskey glass that holds your cigar.
Oh yeah, big cigar stuff. I feel like the man box type companies sell cigars to a bunch of guys that never smoke cigars, and they get the cigar month, and then they try them, and they just spent the next week coughing and smelling like shit. But I love being a man.
Wait a second. Do we take any gold from Saddam?
I hope so. Well, him and his sons
Take his socks.
His sons had a shitload.
I'm like
of gold.
reading about the gold standard, and basically, countries. It used to be that you could only lend out as much money as gold you had, so that's why it was tied to the gold standard.
Mhm.
So that sort of is why countries went to war to get other countries' gold.
That was really the driving factor behind wars. It was like gold and then spices, like salt and pepper.
I just Googled gold from Iraq, and it just came up on Google. Iraq Olympics all time gold medals 0.
Oh, that's tough. That's
Boom,
a
roasted.
nasty
But
shot.
I'm looking at all these. There's a bunch of pictures of U.S. soldiers with gold bars.
But PFT, since me and you were closer in age, did you ever grow up thinking you'd come across more gold in your life? Like, I feel like cartoons made it seem like gold bars were in all of our futures.
Yeah, gold bars is like, and you would know if somebody gave you a gold bar exactly how much money that was. You know, like I'd be like, oh yes, I'll do the job for this $10,000 bar of gold. This feels right to me. I felt like there would be more nuggets, more gold nuggets than there are, because I see gold flecks sometimes. I see gold bars in pictures. But I don't think I've ever come across an actual gold nugget. Like you used to always see, there would be a grizzled old man with a beard and a prospector's hat and a pickaxe, and he would pull out a nugget of gold with his index finger and thumb. It would sparkle in the sun. I used to think that gold nuggets would be a thing that would be everywhere, but I've never seen one in person.
Never seen a nugget. I've never stumbled upon an X on the ground, which I could dig in and harvest a chest filled with coins. None of it. And it feels like I've been lied to by the liberal media, as Big T would say.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, you certainly have been. I mean, about most things, but
Specifically treasure chests and X's on the ground.
yeah, I mean, we know some of the secrets they're keeping. Lord knows what else they don't want you to know.
Okay, guys, I got a new view on things now that I know about how gold works.
This is a nice glimpse into Billy's mind, where he starts doing research on a subject, and 45 seconds later, his entire worldview has been changed on it based on the article he most recently read. But yeah, go off.
Hypothetically. So back when we were on the gold standard, we could only lend out, the government can only lend out money to central banks who lend out money to smaller banks who end up giving money to other people who are like regular people. So if you increase how much gold you have, you can lend out more money. So hypothetically, if it was economically prosperous to go to war and take other people's gold to fuel your own economy, if we took a bunch of gold from Iraq and it was supposed to help the economy, would you guys feel better about it?
Would I feel better about the Iraq war if we took all their gold and our economy was sweet?
Yeah.
For how long?
8 years.
No, I mean, probably not. We still, like, 1 million people died, so that's pretty bad.
Hypothetical question.
Yeah, why do you ask?
I don't know, 'cause it turns out I'm seeing pictures of dudes with a ton of gold.
Okay. So you're saying that the Iraq war is actually a resounding success?
Well, if we got a ton of gold. I'm sort of seeing how gold sort of works into everything.
You're seeing that gold behind the scenes
Big gold.
makes things move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, between growing chest hair, eating steak, saving damsels in distress, and all the other manly things you do, we know you don't have the time and that you were too worn out after a long day's work to even think about shopping. That's where ManBox comes in. Okay, that wasn't actually a real advertisement for the show. I just wanted to read the tagline for manbox.com. I know, me personally, I'm so busy growing chest hair and eating steak that I don't have time to buy a shirt. Like, my shirt, I haven't bought a new shirt in years. Just, there are too many damsels I've been saving. You guys? You guys too manly to shop too?
Yeah.
Yeah, big T.
I actually haven't gone clothes shopping in years, and I like need clothes.
You do?
Yeah.
What kind of clothes do you need?
I like need sneakers.
You want them from a box?
I need them from a box.
I know the perfect place for you, Billy. I'm gonna Billy should go to boybox.com.
No, I'm a man, bro.
What would you include
That's
in your first your first month's man box? What do you get?
first month's man box.
Boots.
Like if I were to design my own for myself.
Well, I'm just for like customers.
Boots to do work in.
Because I think we may have a real business here.
Okay, I'm trying to think of all the stuff that
A
goes
credit
into these
card.
things.
No.
You can just go get that
All right, you get
No, like-
you get a Leatherman tool.
Mhm.
You know, the all-in-one type tool.
like that.
You get one of those, but it's also got like it's got your name engraved on it,
Sick.
and it's got a bald eagle shooting an M16.
Also,
Fuck yeah.
Desert Eagle.
A gun.
Yes.
You think a gun?
We're just
A
shipping,
loaded weapon.
just shipping firearms.
50 caliber Desert Eagle.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a copy of an Alec Baldwin movie.
Nah.
No.
What's the what is it? Flintstone? What's the knife sharpening stone?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, like a grindstone?
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah.
I think a Flintstone. Oh, the Flintstone you can make a spark with.
Right. I'm thinking of like the sharpening tool.
Yeah, knife sharpener.
A
That'd be
bar
sick.
of gold.
Yeah, a bar of gold. You think so? A gold tooth.
$14,000.
No, but let's say modern man, if you had to give, like, as someone who just graduated college and is like in the real world, like a good setup, just like for like you're in the real world, here's a kit.
Mhm.
What would you put in that kit?
In the kit of Welcome to the Real World kit.
Yeah. Like stuff that you need that you don't realize you need when you're.
Okay. It would look like a bar of gold, but it would really just be a Mophie, just a charger, just a phone charger. You need it. You need a phone charger. Your phone will run out of batteries at the worst possible time.
A credit card with a very low limit to build credit.
Mm-hmm. A condom. One condom.
Is it Manbox brand?
Or just
Yeah,
a,
it's
We're
Manbox.
making our own.
Well, yeah, no, that's the side site, the sister site.
Okay.
or just
Chick box.
or just a box, just a box that's like a Jack in the Box, which just punches you in the nuts
No, I would leave that one out.
to sterilize you.
I would leave that one out probably. I would include a like a whistle that when you blow it, the closest Uber stops by and picks you up.
Eh.
No, you don't think an Uber whistle would sell?
Phone yourself.
A phone, a credit
Cell
card.
phone.
Yeah, I invented a phone. Yeah, there's really guys. We have it pretty easy these days.
So easy.
It's
Yeah.
never been a better time to be a guy.
Yeah, they don't like make us go to war anymore.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, in the last 6 months.
True.
When was the last? Well, no, the last war that we started.
When was the last draft?
Vietnam.
Last draft was Vietnam. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Making us go to war. Yeah. Draft.
Yeah, it's not a bad time to be a dude.
No, it's like every guy that's like 60 or older didn't really have a childhood, like before child labor laws and stuff like that. Like the very concept of like playing outside as a man, as a boy, is very green in human history.
Yeah. Playing outside.
A leather jacket. I feel like going into manhood, you need a good leather jacket.
You need one leather jacket.
Yeah, just one.
Uh-huh. I think a set of golf clubs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't
When
golf.
do you guys have time to golf?
I don't go. I don't get it either.
I don't. Yeah. Like what? Like.
You make the time. If you want to do it, you make the time. But that's something that, like, when all other sports fail, you can't play competitive sports anymore. That's it. That's all you got.
Nice Saturday morning.
It's just a good time to spend outside.
I really want to golf with Big T. I know he does
I want to
golf.
golf with you too.
It
I'm
just,
horrible at golf.
golf is just such an inefficient way to get the things you think you like out of golf. Like, for example, like exercise, being outdoors. There's so much more efficient ways to get those.
But there are not more enjoyable ways.
Damn right.
It's just being out with the fellas.
Billy's kind of right though that a lot of times people go out to golf to get the things that are golf adjacent, but they don't want to admit to themselves like, I need to hang out with my friends outside.
yeah.
You have to golf
So
like Mark Wahlberg to do that.
So there's like an excuse where it's like, oh yeah, we're going out to play golf because we're going to compete against each other. That's what we want. But deep down inside, they just crave hanging out with friends outside.
And they're just getting drunk anyway.
Mhm.
And
Just much
They
more
hate-
expensively.
they hate their families is also a key factor. Like it's the only like excuse people have to be like, oh no, sorry, honey, I need 4 hours away from you today.
Yeah. Fun fact: golf doesn't actually exist. It's just a big lie that guys have all agreed to. So, ladies, I'm sorry that we're breaking the news to you, but when your husband says, "I'm going to go out and golf with the fellas," they're literally just going to a strip club for 4 hours. And golf it's not a real thing.
Imagine if you your husband went golfing all the time and you're like, "Oh, can I come golfing with you sometime?" And then you go and he's terrible.
Which everyone is.
They are.
Everyone is.
Everyone's very bad at golfing. Oh, okay. This is totally off the subject of what we're talking about today, but I got to share this with you. Okay. So Saturday night, I'm in DC and go out to dinner, and in DC, certain things are legal. So I partook in certain things before I went out to dinner. I got high, went out to eat.
Sick.
And it was a great time. Outstanding meal. I went to the Pembroke. Great meal. But I was sitting at this table, and there was this guy that was going on a date. It felt like a second date. I was kind of surmising that it was not their first date, because she was asking questions like, "Oh, so did you end up seeing your grandmother last weekend?" or whatever. They had a small baseline of familiarity with each other. They were starting the conversation with like, "Oh, it's so great to see you again. Yeah, I had a really nice time getting to meet you." So I'm thinking it was like second date, maybe third date. And they're having a conversation. I was not trying to eavesdrop, but they were, saying like, "Well, you had the shrimp last time. What are you going to have this time?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna get some French fries to get started, and yeah, we'll see how this goes." And she goes, You seem like you're a little bit upset. Are you okay?" And he was like, "Man, my mom just started dating this new guy, and I'm not sure if I like him just yet." And he was like angry. He was like angry about it. And it's funny because like he's going to this relationship at the same time that his mom is starting to date a new guy. And now there's a budding rivalry between like your mom's boyfriend and you. And it just, maybe I was just like really high at the time, but like it gives you a little window into that guy's soul. He's just like walking around all day stewing about the fact that a guy is dating his mom. That's got to be a bizarre situation to be in. To be like, my mom's single.
How old was this fella?
He was like 35 or 40. So he was an old guy, and he was like pissed off about his mom's boyfriend. And I just imagine that like, I don't know, 30, 40 years from now, once they're married and he's married, they're going to get like a moment together where they'll just be hanging out and be like, "We both made it. We both made it. We both made it through that tough time together," because there's like a little rivalry going on. I don't think that you ever get to a point in life where you're like totally happy with your mom dating a guy, right?
No. Why would you? Like, unless like there was like a horrible divorce where your dad was like the worst person of all time, then you're like, yeah, this guy seems way nicer than that dickhead. But yeah, I don't know. It like my dad died almost 4 years ago now, and my mother moved into like an over 55 type community on the Cape, and my antenna is always up. Like, who's this?
Yeah.
Do I have to beat up a 65-year-old? Like, what's going on here?
You better treat her with respect, old man.
Yeah, home by 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a weird thought process I got myself into, and I was cracking up thinking about this guy just like shaking his head and like going home just stewing, being mad about his mom's boyfriend, being kind of a jerk to him.
Yeah, it's like you become the parent in that situation. Like, your mom's now a teen and you're the parent. And You're just like, you better get a dinner, movie, home. That's what you guys are doing tonight.
We got any more gold facts, Billy?
Yeah, we got a couple more. The first purely gold coins were manufactured in the Asia Minor kingdom of Lydia in 560 BC. Gold has a number of artificial, unstable isotopes. The exact number depends on the scientist you consult, but occurs naturally only as AU-197. You can eat gold. Gourmet shops sell edible gold leaf and flakes that add glitter to everything from pastries to vodka to olive oil. Some people are allergic to gold.
I've seen the gold flakes in vodka before.
Kohlschlager.
Yeah.
Earthquakes can create gold.
Okay.
How does that happen?
Water in faults and fractures vaporizes, leaving gold behind. I don't think it creates.
It doesn't create. It distills down. Yeah.
There's something I think we skipped past a little too quickly earlier. Big T, when you were furious about the asteroids and the 200 million years and all that. What part of it specifically didn't you agree with?
200 milli. That's nonsense.
It's too far.
It's just nonsense.
It does sound like they just threw out a number.
Yeah, I mean, how do you know? I don't believe it.
Wait, what about 65 million?
No millions.
900,000.
I don't know. I don't know what the exact number is. I know it's not 200 million.
Okay.
What's like the latest date you believe? If something like how
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what I think about that, but I do think it's not 200 million.
I don't think it's. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree. I think like saying 200 million, that seems almost too conveniently clean of a number.
Yeah, that as well.
It's just such a grand amount of time to be able to process. Like I'm not even making fun of like the Christianity part of this here that I assume people think I am, but it's more like I almost agree. Like it's such a preposterous amount of time. I agree that it probably did come from an asteroid. A lot of things on this planet were delivered here that way, but it's just such a like even fucking Dune. Have anyone else here seen Dune yet?
Not yet. I want to though.
It's not a spoiler. It just, the opening scene, it just sets like the time it exists in, and it's like year 10,171. And I was a little too high when I read that, and it just like sent me into I was like, oh, that's going to be a year, I would assume. Like that that seems so.
Not
only
at this
8,000
rate.
years.
Not at the rate we're going.
Well, not on Earth necessarily, but the year will still happen.
Yeah, sure.
We need Arian to explain to us how time works, because I think the year will definitely still happen, right?
For sure.
100%.
It's happening now, according to Arian.
Yeah, it's happening right now.
I still need clarification on that. I still don't get that.
It's a continuum, man. I don't really get it either, but I think I get parts of it. But yeah, it's like space and time is the same. That's kind of what I'm taking.
Do you believe that? Like, do you think all time is happening at once?
I don't know. That's way above my pay grade. Yeah. Like all I know is that we got the Manning cast coming back on tonight, and we're gonna get Drew Brees, we're gonna get Jameis Winston playing in the rain in Seattle, and I'm hoping to God they show somebody throwing a fish at Pike Place Market going out to commercial break. That's all I'm hoping for. That's as far in advance as my brain can process things. So no, I don't know if we're living inside of a singularity moment where every moment of time has already happened and will already happen. What do you think, Billy?
China produces the most gold.
They find the most gold.
They produce 440 tons per year.
How do we know that that's true? Couldn't they just say that? That's the big thing about this gold stuff is much like you're saying with Fort Knox. Couldn't China just be like, yep, we set another record again? And then you're like, can we check it? Nope. Very secretive country. Please stay out.
Why aren't they top 5 if that's the case?
I don't know. That's what's strange. Their reserves aren't top 5. I think they do make a lot of money using that gold, putting it into electronics, other things, selling it. But boy, looking at the gold reserve numbers,
I bet you North Korea probably claims that they have a bunch of gold. They're really into scams. North Korea, the way that they operate is very similar to the mafia in that they were getting paid a shitload of money every year on bogus insurance claims. So they would say like, hey, we just had this giant factory that burned down and we had it insured for $400 with Lloyd's of London. Although I don't think Lloyd's of London does business with them anymore, but there would be other European or international insurance companies that would insure their factories.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, yeah, that entire factory burned down. Sorry, can you pay us the $200 million that you owe us? Mm-hmm. And then the insurance companies would be like, no problem. Can we just send some inspectors in to check and make sure that the factory was destroyed? And they'd be like, no, yeah, we're not going to be able to let you do that. Remember, we're very secretive. And then eventually they just like wear them down and eventually get like $100 million settlement out of them. That was the biggest source of revenue for all of North Korea for, I think, 2 or 3 decades. It was just insurance scams, which, I mean, tip of the hat. It's pretty impressive.
They make a lot of meth too.
Do they do?
Yeah.
North Korea does?
Yep.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Huge meth producers. Crystal. Good
Crystal?
Stuff. Yeah.
That's the good stuff?
Like really good crystal meth.
We're not talking biker crank?
Yeah, they use labs. They put Breaking Bad to shame.
All right, so wait, back.
Really, you sound like you know a lot about this stuff.
Meth?
Yeah.
Crystal meth is North Korea's trendiest Lunar New Year's gift.
Okay, I like it. So inside the red packets, instead of like coins, it's just like
Yeah.
a couple grams, a couple G's of glass.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they've got some big production facilities down in Mexico too. So they're doing like industrial scale meth
I
production.
wanted to actually talk about this. So like, the U.S. is going to look to like start another war soon.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, as
Like-
far we're about due.
Yeah. You know, just like we're in the Middle East, out of the Middle East, like looking for a new little project.
Something tells me we'll be back in the Middle East soon.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a temporary homecoming.
You know where it might be the best place to just deploy and try to nation build and do everything we're doing? And
England.
Like actually get.
We should fuck this waiting around bullshit. We should take England over.
Go invade England.
Yeah, it's coming home, bitch.
No, what about like
I mean, why not? What's stopping us right now from taking over England? I don't think that there's a good reason not to.
This is such a specific thing, but I really want to play England in the World Cup next year, and I want to beat them, and I just want to tweet that 2-second clip.
It's coming home, bitch.
It's coming home, bitch.
I do too. I want to do that too, Big T. Where were you saying that we should invade?
we should invade the cartel in Mexico?
We should just invade Mexico?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
What, to take their drugs?
no, just like to destroy the cartel.
Okay.
I think that would be pretty.
You're working under the assumption that they don't already work for us.
Good point, Coley.
True, but it would be good use of our time if we're
Would
going to
it?
go do. Yeah, we we stop the drugs. Like if we like did a full occupation, like took it all on.
It sounds an awful like what we just got done doing in Iraq.
Exactly,
Except
but it's gonna
they're-
happen. I'm just like I don't want it to happen, but they're gonna send everybody somewhere else
they are.
and
Yeah.
spend money because there's a lot of industry. and-
There's a lot you need
Yeah.
to keep feeding
So,
that
like-
beast.
I mean,
Well, let's see. If you had to rank right now, which countries are we the most likely to have like an actual war with? Is that what you're talking about?
no, not a war. We can go to war, but just like an occupation.
An occupation or
Try,
like a,
because the
a
who do you
mild
think-
invasion?
I think the cartel is probably more powerful than ISIS right now.
Yeah, maybe. I can
You
see
calling
us-
ISIS a JV team?
No,
No,
but
ISIS
I'm saying
was,
the cartel is that good.
what was it? Big T. ISIS was Al Qaeda's JV team.
Yeah, that's what everyone's favorite president said.
Yep.
Huh.
W.
No,
Miss me yet? I think that I could see an invasion of Taiwan happening.
Yeah,
if,
but then
if
we-
China sends their forces to Taiwan,
But then we'd have to
we
straight
step
up.
in. That would be a mess.
Oh, by the way, you know how China's got that new missile delivering system? That's insane.
Yep.
I got a new theory.
Okay.
The UFOs are 100% U.S. creation, and that's why we're so chill with the whole thing.
Okay. Do you have like any sort of evidence behind this, or
Nope,
just like
I'm
I thought
just
you had?
using it to sleep well at night.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Sure. I could also see us. Let's see. Where else could we invade? I feel like Belize.
No.
Belize gives off strong invasion vibes. It's got a lot of beachfront on there. A lot of cartel movement goes through Belize. There's a lot of trafficking, and it would be an easy win. That's really what we need right now. We need a cupcake.
Like a.
We need to find somebody to like get us a win.
FCS team.
Yeah,
Week one.
FCS.
You need
Yes.
the Jets, yeah.
Sudan's got a little insurrection going on.
Do they?
Yeah.
We could go over there, crush an insurrection real quick.
Yeah.
What about like Turkey?
No, they got a little too much power.
Yeah, Turkey's messy because they sit in a
We
position.
can't be afraid of Turkey if we want
No.
to be a world power.
No, we're not afraid of Turkey, but it's like there's Russia, there's China.
Yeah, a lot of competing interests.
That's like, yeah, that's.
You've
You just
got
talk about Taiwan.
I know, but Taiwan.
that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Hand up, hand up.
Taiwan, like if Taiwan starts going off, then we have to go over. Like that's World War III.
All right.
Turkey, I feel like the position, the location of Turkey on a global scale gives it a lot of advantages. I think it'd be messy. I think it'd be very messy to start some shit with Turkey.
We want
Not-
a clean war.
No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
like Turkey's too wrapped up. It's got too much baggage. We need someone who's
Yeah, Turkey's a messy bitch.
yeah.
Historically, one of the messiest bitches in the world. That thing's been run through by a few dudes. That's all I'm saying.
Constantinople.
Yeah.
Ataturk.
I would say like one of the northern South American countries too, like a Suriname or a Guyana.
Yeah.
I could see that being a real easy dub for us. Cuba.
No, but it'd be.
We've proven time and time again we've got nothing for Cuba.
I mean, the Bay of Pigs may have been like an all-time botch job. Like it's fucking Cuba. It's 90 miles from Key West. They probably all got drunk on rum before they. How do you botch that?
They retrained Cubans.
Yeah, we didn't go full send.
Like we didn't full send with the army.
Yeah,
but missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Cold War.
All right, so name some names. Billy thinks that we're going to be invading Mexico next, or that we should invade Mexico.
Not invade Mexico, but maybe just like send our military to destroy the cartel in Mexico.
Okay. Who do you think, Big T?
If we're looking for an easy win, I don't know that the cartel.
Right. I'm not looking for an easy win. I'm just saying if we're gonna go like do an occupation and spend 20 years somewhere, like might as well be there.
I think one of those Central American countries you were talking about, that it really is an FCS game. You pay the in-state FCS team to come up, get their ass kicked. You hand them a $800,000 check and send them on their way.
We should just we should pay a country,
Panama,
to go to war with them. Be like, hey, we're just gonna kick your ass for a while.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just sometimes you just got to get some stress.
We're gonna keep your program running for the next little while with the check we're gonna give you.
Yeah, we're gonna burn it to the ground, but you'll be able to rebuild and rebuild better. Yeah. Panama could be another one. Like, give us that canal back. Sorry, Jimmy Carter's a liar.
Any of that.
What's up?
I don't think you need something justifiable. I feel like the cartel in Mexico is justifiable.
Yeah, we can figure out a way to justify any war. I think we've kind of learned that.
Yeah, I want to see the Caymans on our schedule. I want the Cayman Islands road game.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea either, because you could justify that invasion. Like they're withholding $50 billion a year in taxes from us.
Okay,
we owe them money as a nation. We're in debt to the Caymans.
Are we?
What?
Yeah, me and Tyler, one mixtape ran through because we were trying to figure out the deficit. Like, what do you mean? Like, where is all this money? And so we ran down all the countries we owe money to. Obviously, China #1. And it's most of the countries we owe money to. Like, there's not many countries we are not currently indebted to, and the Caymans are on there.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, but debt isn't necessarily bad when you have a AAA credit rating.
Mm-hmm. What about?
Sure.
And we have all the gold.
Yeah, which that feels like when someone owes you like $20 and you see them with like a new pair of shoes on, you're like, why don't you just pay me my 20 first, then you can go get the shoes.
But I think they're collecting.
That's what it feels like.
They're collecting interest on that. So
I mean, the Caymans have all of. If they wanted to just stop giving billionaires their money back, they'd be in a real bind.
Epstein's Island. Let's invade that.
Little St. James.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm down for that. We should invade Greenland.
We should just
fuck trying to buy it. Let's just invade it. Iceland says that they control Greenland. Give me a break, Iceland. Like, why don't you take care of your own mess at home?
So you hate Iceland, England? You got beef with anybody else?
No, I don't actually hate Iceland. I like Iceland a lot. I'm just saying it's preposterous to me that a country the size of Iceland also claims to own an island the size of Greenland.
Well, Greenland's much smaller.
I know, because it's at the poles,
right?
And it's distorted, but it's also still way bigger than Iceland.
Very unoccupied, though.
Very unoccupied. I say we just take Greenland. That's almost like the spring game, the practice game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Take over Greenland, maybe even sprinkle a few troops down at the Antarctic Circle. See what's going on down there. Keep an eye on the South Pole, and then we start to build up some confidence. Next thing you know, we're taking over Sri Lanka.
You know who's getting a ton of new good land just by happenstance? Russia's global warming. Russia's getting a ton of new shipping lanes in the north, and some of the land that was just like frozen tundra is now like being decent farmland.
Siberia.
Yeah.
So, I think that Sentinelese Islands could be a good place for us to really practice.
No, that would literally be us playing a Pop Warner team.
Yeah, it would turn into an inter-squad scrimmage pretty quickly. Yeah. What if they just dominated us, though?
Are you kidding?
What if they got us sick with a bunch of diseases that our bodies weren't prepared for?
I think we got way worse pathogens.
Probably.
They probably don't even have COVID.
You ever read Guns, Germs, and Steel?
I've read the back jacket of it. It
Yeah.
seems very interesting.
That's about what I did when we were supposed to read it in school.
Yeah. It's about globalization, right? How those three things impacted
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
trade, world exploration.
Yep.
I'm still like at a loss for why we haven't invaded England.
Because they gave us all their gold.
Sounds like we just kind of stuck them up for their gold.
I
We're
think-
like, yeah, notes due again. Keep paying me.
Yeah,
Okay.
Europe legit, the US was just like, give us all your gold and we promise you will never actually have to get into a war in the next 100 years.
So do you think that the price of gold is going to go up, not based on like conflict or anything like that, but the stuff that we're making with gold right now is way different from the stuff that we're making with gold 100 years ago, 200 years ago, right? Like 200 years ago, we were making like ships and we were making structures that needed to stand for hundreds of years, if not thousands. And now the gold is going towards smaller increments, smaller quantities in like a phone, in computer processors. I think they use it on the space station and stuff like that. So it's going towards stuff that's more easily replaceable, that people are throwing away their phones every 2 years.
But
you know?
when you throw like electronics away, the first thing you do is strip the gold.
Do they?
They just smash it all up and then sift out the gold the same way they do it in the dirt.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what they do to all electronics.
So how much gold do you think is inside your phone right now?
Probably a minuscule amount. Like less, I would say there's 20 cents worth or maybe $1. 20 cents to $1 worth in a phone.
How much gold is inside an iPhone? 0.034 grams of gold.
So 0.03.
Yep, 0.034 grams of gold.
So 33 would be a gram, which is a 28th of an ounce. It's 18,000 an ounce.
It is
Hang on, let me try to do this in my head. 18,000 an ounce. A 28th of that is 1,800 times 3, which is like $5,500, and then it's a 33rd of that. So it's like $1,300.
No.
No.
0.03.
130.
No, it's $100. It's $1.72.
What?
0.034 grams.
I do like the detail that Big T got into on that calculation, just to be wildly wrong.
Hang on. What?
I'm seeing $1.50, but this was from an
Okay,
old iPhone.
yeah, that was a lot of math. I got sidetracked.
The iPhone 5 had $1.58 of gold, 36 cents of silver, 5 cents of platinum, 12 cents of copper.
Not a math guy.
Yep.
All right, so I guess, yeah, it's probably not that efficient to extract the gold yourself from an iPhone.
But if you had like a bunch, but they just sell it back.
Yeah. All right. You got any more gold fun facts for us?
Gold. Gold's weird. I actually feel like, you know how gold got its value from just being everlasting and non-changing?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's kind of how Bitcoin has value.
Okay.
Because it's honestly more accessible. So I think it actually has more properties than gold to be valuable.
I don't understand how like a made up thing could have more properties.
So think about this. The internet, do you think the internet's going anywhere?
I don't know. But I don't. That's maybe the most nebulous question ever asked.
I know, but do you think the internet's going anywhere?
Do I think the internet is going anywhere?
Do you think we're gonna have like,
Yeah.
in situation?
It is.
That's fascinating.
The internet's going somewhere.
No, but let's say the internet.
Wait. Do you mean it's going away?
Do you think it will ever cease to exist?
Yes,
How soon?
because it has ceased to exist in the past, and we all live in the future and the past, according to Arian Foster.
No, I'm just saying if we had, so like situations where you could not access the internet in this modern age,
Yeah,
those situations probably money.
they're
gold
getting
won't
fewer.
matter.
They're getting fewer and far between, though.
Right, but like for example, if the internet were to go out, it would basically be a symbol of apocalypse. Like if you could not get to a point where you could access your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So at that point, money, no one even cares about money. They care about resources and supplies.
Yeah.
Right. So in that situation where there's no internet, money doesn't matter either.
Right.
So Bitcoin is just as effective and everlasting as gold would be.
I'm completely lost now. So if you get yourself into a situation where you don't have the internet, you say that Bitcoin is worth more?
So
very confused.
Let's say it's The Walking Dead.
Okay.
There's no internet.
Yeah. If I have a Bitcoin, a zombie is going to be like, I don't care about your Bitcoin.
Right, but so does a bar of gold.
Right.
So, like, let's say post-apocalypse, no internet. Do you think when you're on the road and you meet another stranger and you got like exchange goods, do you think they're going to give a fuck about money or gold?
Gold, yeah, that's the inherent value behind gold, is because you can make stuff out of it.
Not in that scenario.
You can make stuff out of gold. You can make hardware. You can make things to travel with.
But
you can make tools.
In those situations where you could make something out of gold, the internet would probably be around.
We're talking about a post-apocalyptic scenario.
I'm confused why you think that, like, in a post-apocalyptic scenario, somebody would come along on like a fellow traveler on the road and be like, "Hey, can I buy that thermos for you for this Bitcoin?" I feel like that would be
that's not what I'm saying.
That would be the least valuable scenario for somebody trying to sell Bitcoin.
I'm just saying that in this modern world, Bitcoin's going nowhere, just like gold wasn't going anywhere.
When you mean going nowhere, you mean Bitcoin will be around forever?
Right. And doesn't really depreciate in like quality or existence.
Okay.
So like, for example, gold never like would go bad or oxidize or any of the things that other metals do.
Yeah.
So that's what was a quality they liked about it. And Bitcoin is the same way because it's not going anywhere. It's going to always be there in this current state where the internet is all accessible.
Okay, I don't know about that because I think that there's still scenarios where the internet is not as important. You know, like there's still major parts of the world that don't have access to the internet. It's getting better, but there's still a lot of countries that don't have fast internet access. They can't even like stream stuff.
Like where?
Like if you're on an airplane. It's amazing to me that I can't stream a video on an airplane.
Well, you can't. You just got to pay for it.
I know. It makes me sick.
Even when you do, though, it doesn't always work great. And you have countries with extremely restricted internet access. It's not like a free, open internet. What happened to net neutrality, by the way? That was like the hottest.
I talked about this the other day. That was just the fraud media lying to you. The internet's going to go away. You're going to have to pay for every website you use because of Ajit Pai. Fucking idiots.
I was talking to somebody about net neutrality too the other day, Big T. It's interesting because Big T's right about that. It was being labeled as being the end of the internet as we knew it in the United States. It was like a full 5-alarm panic. And
from morons.
We were told that it was if we limited the restrictions, then certain companies could charge more money for using different websites than others, or they could throttle the internet. It's yet to be seen what's going to happen, but so far, I haven't really seen any evidence of that.
By the way, I've got bad news. Your internet's been being throttled for many years. If you use too much data on your phone, they slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's always happened.
Yeah, the media needs to chill out a little bit. Pick and choose your battles on which ones are real and important.
There was like a vote for it. Who's that guy? What was his name?
Ajit Pai.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
Chairman of the FCC at the time.
Yeah, that guy stinks. He was constant. Like I feel like there was a stretch where every time he said something, he was just getting booed by the entire internet.
Yeah, he was getting dunked on left and right. So, but it ended up passing, right?
I thought it didn't.
Big T?
I honestly don't remember.
We're wildly underinformed here. I think that I think what happened was whatever law got put into existence was the one that gave more power to internet service providers, which made people who were in favor of net neutrality think the internet's going away. And so far, it's been basically the same internet. I don't know. We banned a couple people since then. I think banning people from social media, it should just be left up to a mass vote. Just let the people decide. Democratize it. Any more gold facts, Billy?
Gold is a very sought after resource.
It
People are
is.
gold crazy.
But you don't have any gold.
I don't have any gold.
What about gold fillings?
Nope. Gold rush.
Yeah.
Honestly, when gold has caused a lot of economic expansion in areas where they found it. So the West Coast, it was formed 100% because people went out there looking for gold. Everything else sprung up around that.
I think it'd be fun to be a gold miner.
Yeah.
To like go out and just start digging through the hills.
Yeah. South Africa was a huge gold spot. Caused the Boer Wars.
Speaking of gold miners, here's an interview with Rick Ness from Gold Rush on the Discovery Channel. Before we get to Rick Ness, and also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. Smash the subscribe button. You can watch us do the episode. You get to see Rick Ness and check out his ring that he's about to show us. When you guys hear it, this is something that you want to see online for yourself. So smash that button, the subscribe button on YouTube, and you can watch all the episodes of Macrodosing there. What time do they come out, Avery?
They come out at 7 p.m. every Tuesday.
Okay. People are always like, why can't you put the YouTube episode up before the real episode comes? It'll never be fast enough for people to watch it online. But
never.
The people that watch it like it more than the people that just download it and listen to it. So we appreciate you guys.
I'm like Amazon. I give you same day.
Yeah,
Relax.
Exactly. Avery works his nuts off, okay? He doesn't have it balls anymore because he worked them off for you guys. Thank you. # thank you, Avery.
Tried to dip them in gold.
Yeah. Thank you, Avery. So before we get to Rick Ness, I think Big T wants to talk to us about his favorite sponsor.
Sure do, guys. We want to talk to you again about our friends at Black Rifle Coffee Company. Black Rifle is a veteran-owned coffee company serving premium coffee to people who love America. Veteran CEO and founder Evan Hafer spent over 7 years on the ground overseas with U.S. Special Forces and is a CIA contractor. Evan even modified his gun trucks during the invasion of Iraq to grind coffee anywhere. BRCC is continually committed to supporting veteran law enforcement and first responder causes. In 2020, Black Rifle donated more than 6 million cups of coffee to deployed soldiers, law enforcement, and medical workers through their signature Buy a Bag, Give a Bag initiatives. They import their high-quality coffee beans from all over the world and roast 5 days a week at facilities in Manchester, Tennessee, and Salt Lake City, Utah, right here in America. The team at Black Rifle is continually researching and experimenting with new roasting methods and coffee origins. The best way to enjoy Black Rifle is by joining the coffee club. You pick your perfect roast, how much and you want, and when you want it delivered right to your door. They take care of the rest. It's free to sign up, and you get free shipping, discounts on their partner brands, and early access to new products and club exclusives. Go to blackriflecoffee.com/dose and use the code DOSE, D-O-S-E, today and get the freshest coffee in America shipped right to you.
Okay, we welcome on a very special guest. It's Rick Ness. You might know Rick Ness from Gold Rush. Gold Rush is Discovery's #1 rated show. Airs Fridays on Discovery and streaming on Discovery Plus. It's a very popular show. Rick Ness, welcome to Macrodosing. We're happy to have you here. You're also a one-time candidate for president. I should mention that too. You announced your candidacy. I don't know how, did that ever get off the ground?
No, but somebody reposted it and thought it was serious. I thought that was pretty funny. Also, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, Big T sent us your tweet earlier today, and the tweet said, I'm announcing my bid for the presidency of the United States for 2020 right now. My platform and my message is grow the fuck up. My party is I like to party. I've heard GoFundMe is popular. I'm going to need some financing. Spread this. I got to say, I'm on board with your platform, 100%. I'm on board with your platform and your message.
I appreciate that. I'm not much of a grown-up, am I?
No, it's fine. I also saw the timestamp on that tweet was like 1:30 a.m. on a Saturday. And I was like, I know what Rick was getting into. Rick was having some fun. But yeah, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you. For those of us who might not watch Gold Rush, can you give us just like a quick background as to what it is you do and how you fit into the larger picture of the show?
Sure. Well, Gold Rush follows, now 4 mining teams, placer gold mining teams. I started 10 years ago on the show. I started on another crew, worked my way up, and then 4 years ago I started my own mining company and split off, and now I'm one of the main people that they follow.
Cool. And so where do you do most of your mining?
Yukon Territory of Canada, way up north. I'm actually only about 180 miles south of the Arctic Circle when I'm mining.
Okay.
So if you're that close to the Arctic Circle, do you have like those 18-hour days where the sun doesn't set for a long time?
Absolutely, yeah. It pretty much doesn't get dark all summer, which makes it easy to work and overwork my crew. A lot of people ask me, like, how do you get used to that? And that's not hard to get used to. What's hard to get used to is when it starts getting dark again and you haven't seen the darkness for, a couple months, your eyes just don't, it takes a long time to get used to that.
Wow.
Yeah. So if it's like one of those days where it's 16, 18 hours of sunlight, do you probably on average don't get as much sleep. Do you feel tired when you wake up in the morning when the sun's like fully out, or is it like something that your body clock adapts to?
Well, in that business, you're not getting much sleep anyways, and you do adapt to it. You basically work until you're tired, and then when you're tired, the light, a bomb going off or whatever the hell is happening, it isn't going to keep you awake. So yeah, it's a weird thing. For 6 months, I live off of 4 hours of sleep a night, and then the other 6 months when I'm home, which I am now, I can't survive without like 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
What would you say is the biggest misconception around? Are you a gold miner? Is that what we call you? You're not a gold digger, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay. You're a gold miner. What's the biggest misconception around your profession?
I would say that it's a lot. It's not as fun as it looks, and it's definitely not as glamorous as it looks. Let's just put it that. I mean, the amount of money it takes to move the amount of dirt to get the gold out is probably something that people don't really understand. I mean, they see big numbers, millions of dollars in gold. They don't understand how much money it takes to get that gold.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your sunk costs when you're starting a venture like that, would you say?
A startup cost?
Right.
Well, they say in this business, the best way to make $1 million gold mining is to start with 2.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So it's rough. I mean, our biggest cost is fuel, and we're so remote. Fuel is my biggest cost. And every time that fuel truck shows up, it's $60,000. Write a check, $60,000, and it's every couple of weeks for that. And it takes hundreds of thousands of dollars to get anything even small up and running enough to be serious, really.
So the reason Billy asked that, I'm sure, is because Billy sees your profession. He's like, man, that'd be sweet if I could just go on an adventure for 6 months out in the woods, and what would it cost me personally to get out of New York City and be able to get started? I guess would you say is the gold mining business, is it oversaturated, or is it still a place where if you want to and you have the money, you can go out and start your own venture?
Oh, you definitely can do that, but it is getting tougher. The show, obviously, I mean, that didn't flood the market. That's not what happened, but obviously brought more interest. I mean, so many people watched the show. And that area, it is getting tough to find good ground. I mean, you go up there anywhere and there's still ground available. Whether or not it's going to be worth your time, that's another question. But it is weird. You can still go up there and you could stake ground still. If nobody's claimed that ground, you could, there's a way to do it. It's a proper way. You have to do it right. You can pound stakes in the ground with your name on it, go to the mining recorder's office and say, here's the ground I staked and I want the permit to mine this. This is a short version of that process. And that's actually how it works.
Okay.
So
if the ground is at stake, but most of the good ground is. So you end up dealing with the person who staked it, and you can lease it from them. It's a process.
So is that land owned? Who owns that land originally before anyone stakes it?
That's the thing, is that you can't own any of that land. Even if you stake it, claim it, you own the mineral rights, or you're granted the mineral rights, but you can never own that land. It's owned by the government. It's owned by the country of Canada, and it's weird.
That's pretty cool. You don't think of something like that happening in today's day and age, where you can just go out, and if you're the first person to pound a stake into the land, then you get everything that's inside of it for a set amount of time. That's kind of cool. Do you have a sixth sense when you approach a nice piece of land and you're like, yeah, this smells like gold. I can smell the gold in the air.
I kind of do, and it's like my worst enemy, because if you think you've got a feeling, you can have a feeling, but if you base everything off of just the feeling, like that's the fastest way to go bankrupt there is. And I've come close. I had to learn, you know what I mean? Like, you have to test, you have to drill, you have to, sample, you have to do the work, the legwork before you start putting the money into it. Because as soon as you put that excavator bucket in the ground or drop the blade on that dozer, you are just burning money. And if you're in the wrong spot, you're not going to get it back.
So what are you looking for when you're like evaluating a piece of land? What are the key contributing factors of being like, hey, there might be some gold in this ground?
Well, it depends on the area. Like, kind of where I started is called the Indian River Valley in the Dawson City area of the Yukon. It's a big valley, and there's gold in a lot of it, and most of it actually. Some good spots, some bad, but generally there's gold everywhere. It's just a valley that, over millions of years, gold was moved there by water. Now then, there's tributaries that come in off the mountains in the valley, and some tributaries had gold in them, and that gold came down and washed in the main valley, but a lot of it's still up there. Some had none. It's really, it's hard to explain like what you first look for. People did that like in the 1890s. How they knew is beyond me. But generally now you kind of know where the ground is with the gold, and then it's up to you to prove it. Like I said, you got to drill it, you got to do seismic work, you got to do resistivity. It's a little more of a process than just throwing a shovel in a creek and panning it.
Yeah, that's the kind of gold mining that I think I would like to do. I wouldn't have time for like the geologist on staff to talk to me about the computer modeling and printouts and stuff. I want to get my hands dirty. We got Big T over here. Big T is a big fan. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so like either monetarily or in terms of an amount, what is like a good day, week, month of gold mining? Like, what's a number that you're looking to hit?
So to make it worth our time, we're generally looking to process, once we start running the material through our plant, we're generally looking for at least an ounce of gold an hour after it's all processed. So that's, in today's gold prices, they're pretty good. Raw gold, we're doing about $1,500 $1,600 an hour minimum. That's what we want to do. And it goes from there depending on how good the ground is. Like, we're always looking for better ground. We're looking for 2-3 ounces an hour type stuff. And, sometimes, I've got a really big wash plant. I can run, 300 yards an hour through that thing, which is massive. And, sometimes you could do 6, 7, 8, 10 or more, way more ounces per hour. So it adds up quick.
How long do you give it before it's time to cut bait here? That's got to be like the biggest decision that you have to make, right? Is like when it's time to give up on a project.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you start losing money, and it's hard to say exactly when, but that is a great question, because if you don't give up on it and you just try to keep, be stubborn, which I am stubborn, and try and like, I know this is going to work. I know. Yeah, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
You start losing money, give up.
So you guys mainly, when you're mining, it's mostly the gold dust. Do your machines process larger nuggets, or maybe even like what's the biggest piece of gold you think you found?
I actually was going to bring it out here with me, and I can't find it, if you can believe that.
That's tough. That's not the item that you want to lose in your house.
Yeah, I know it's here. I just didn't know where it was. But last year I found the biggest nugget ever found on Gold Rush, and it was 1.5 ounces. It's actually really. And since I couldn't find that big one, I brought like a little jar of. These are some of like the coarser stuff. It's not, but that's
wow.
That's about $30,000 right there.
Damn. So do you love gold?
Do I love it? After 10 years, yeah. I mean, it's exciting. It really is. It's if you think about the concept, like gold is money, and there's money in the ground, and all you have to do is dig it up. That's the short version.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it too is that gold, that we pull out of the ground. I'm the first human being to ever see that gold. Like, that gold is going to go out into the world for whatever purpose it's going to be used for. And I'm the first person that has ever seen that in the history of ever.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Who's the main market for your gold? Like, who are you selling the gold to at the end of the day?
The buyer that I use, they mainly sell to electronics company, like, because there's gold in everything, your cell phones, they mainly sell it to electronic companies. I try to keep like the coarser stuff just because, they're not making any more of that. There's not more gold nuggets being made. So I sell, all the finer stuff and whatever I have to keep my business going.
Yeah, that's great. You don't think about all the gold that's in everything that you use these days. And like you said, like computing, it's in a lot of that stuff. So, all right, so you keep the coarse stuff, and you said that they're not making any more of it. They're not making any more of the nuggets. How long, okay, flash forward 50,000 years from now, where are we going to have gold, new gold?
No, I don't think so. No, short answer, no. 50,000 years, no, that's not, unless, there's a lot of speculation still, like where gold actually came from. Like, there's really no solid answer. So in 50,000 years, if a meteor from space that's got a ton of gold in it hits Earth, which is actually it's possible, then.
Okay, so we're really dumb, and we don't know that much about science at all. So you're saying that the amount of gold that's on the Earth right now, it came from a meteor, or is there a process geologically that helps to form, like, diamonds? It's carbon, right? It gets compacted over the course of a long time. But with gold, you're saying the process is not like that. It doesn't evolve into being gold. It's just either there or it's not.
It's all speculation. I mean, it's millions of years old. It literally millions. And so, there's a lot of, the gold is in, the gold is in rock, like it's in mountains as well. It's like, it's buried in the bedrock, and they call it hard rock mining. You can crush, rock and get the gold out of it. So, there's lots of theories. Did it come up out of the ground? Was it always in the rock? Did it fall from the fucking sky? There is, several theories really, and it's all kind of theories because no one was alive, millions of years ago. And I could even be wrong about that because I'm not a fucking scientist either. And
Big T will tell you that 6,000 years ago is when human life started here.
Quick question. When you're dealing with all that dirt and you're doing a lot of excavation, do you ever find anything else down there of interest?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what type of stuff do you find?
Really cool shit, actually. Like woolly mammoth tusks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, those are things that at least how old they are. Like, they're a minimum of 10,000 years old. And the coolest part about that is, something 10,000 years old in the ground is generally fossilized. You guys know what fossils are. Mm-hmm. But the ground up there is permanent. It's called permafrost. It's permanently frozen. Like, it never thaws and refreezes. It's been frozen since the mammoth died. And so when you actually find that and dig it up, it's not a fossil. It's literally intact, as if it just fucking happened. And people find full intact woolly mammoths up there too. I've never found one like that, but I have dug up, 200-pound ivory tusks from them, and some teeth. With teeth are like this big. Wow. I've actually got. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, if you have that, I know Billy would love to see it. So when you dig up gold from Canada, do they take a cut, or is Canada just like, thank you for coming and taking my gold, have a nice day?
Yeah, no, they do take a cut. It's not a lot, it's fair, but it is. The way I look at it is I'm an American and I do mine in Canada, and they allow me to go in there and do that. So I have no problem paying the royalty to the Canadian government, and it's actually not much.
That's nice.
I was thinking, like, when are they going to raise it? Like, it kind of seems taxes and all that other shit. Like, I sleep well. I pay them their little bit, and I'm fine with it.
That's great. Yeah, they're very polite people. Is there any gold in the United States left to dig up? Because I know that, like, it's It seems like a fantasy that most kids have at one point to just, go in the backyard and go digging for treasure. Is there any, like, if you go out to Colorado, is that where there's still gold?
Yeah. So Colorado, Nevada, California, Arizona, there's definitely, gold in the United States. It's, I don't know much about it. If I'm being honest, I know it's a tough racket. A lot of gold in Alaska actually too. But that's the thing. Like I like gold. I own a mining company, a placer gold mining company, and it is like what I do. But I'm not a nerd about all the specific details of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with everything with climate change or whatever, do you see that there's more mineable land being opened up by melting ice and whatnot? So do you see yourself advancing farther north because there's more land that's sort of becoming opened up?
I don't know. I don't think that's like I don't think enough of that is happening to make, in this case, like what you're saying, to like difference. But I guess I shouldn't say that. I haven't been to exactly these areas and witnessed it with my own eyes. Like, I mean, you see videos of glaciers, falling into the ocean. But that's what glaciers do. Like if glaciers ever stop falling into the ocean, that's called capping. That's a big problem. Glaciers are always moving, and that they move toward, they move to the low point, the water, and then when they get over the water, they fall in. So that's just the fact. I'm not saying that, they aren't receding and getting smaller. But,
when you're putting together a crew of people to take up into the Yukon, what are you looking for in a crew? I imagine that it has to be a good combination of people who aren't lazy, who will do what they're asked, and also are at times fun to be around, or at least not unpleasant to be around most of the time. Like, is there like a specific skill set that you're looking for? You're like, okay, I need one glue guy, I need a geologist, or how's that process work out?
It's like for the core of the crew, like we're all in heavy, machines. So you want equipment operators. And when you said, somebody that's, at least pleasant to be around, that's so much more important than you think, because, we all live together in a camp. It's a purpose-built camp. It's nice, but adults aren't made. We're not supposed to live together amongst each other for that long. That's my opinion, because the toughest thing is the mental game. It really is. Yeah, we work long ass hours, so you got to be willing to do that. It's 12 hours minimum a day. And we work, 12 days on, 2 days off is the schedule I give my guys. And if I'm being honest, a lot of times we work right through the days off. So you got to be ready to work. And you got to be ready to get along, because one bad apple in camp, it literally ruins the morale of the entire team. Because if you think about, you work at a job and there's a shithead there that you don't like you could deal with it because you go home at night, you don't have to see him. But in this case, if there's a shithead at work, you're going to see him at dinner.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking hallway before you go to bed. So it's the mental game is the toughest part.
At least Billy and I go to different apartments at the end of the day, which I'm very thankful for, because it could get ugly. You would need to actually install a jail here in this office if we all had to live here nonstop. There would need to be like Marshall. Do you have a jail? Is it like a ship where it's like if somebody gets out of line, you can throw them in the brig?
No, that's pretty much just called a hole. Like we could bury people 80 feet deep in like 10 minutes.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's the get along, or you're going in the hole.
I've got a dumb question. Have you ever accidentally eaten gold?
I've faked like I was going to, and I don't think I've accidentally ever swallowed some, but I'm willing to bet in 10 years, gold gone into my body through my mouth. Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Some of it fine.
If I were you, I would, every time I took a shit, I would turn around and check just to make sure, like, hey, there might actually be some gold in my shit today. Because you never know walking around.
You never know. And actually, I do have a lot of times when people are like faking, like, ooh, I show them some gold. They're like, oh, I'm going to take that. I'm like, you can have as much as you want. You can have as much as you can eat. Okay. So you can have as much of my gold as you can eat.
That sounds like a dangerous challenge to issue to the wrong person.
No one's ever.
We got Coley jumping in. Coley, you're on with with Rick Ness. He is the one of the stars of Discovery's #1 rated show, Gold Rush. It airs Fridays on Discovery and it streams on Discovery Plus. You were just saying those exact words to me the other day, weren't you, Coley?
Yeah, you can often find me just munching on a bar of gold. So I feel like me and you would get along famously.
Yeah. Look for a crew member. Like we could just hang out and eat gold together. It'd be fucking tight.
Yeah, no, I'm there. Just give me the location and I will start chomping.
Coley would definitely try to smoke your gold just to see if it lit on fire.
Chop it up.
Yeah.
You could certainly melt gold. You can't say it's not doable.
Yeah. Doable.
That's true.
Anything's doable.
Chop it up into a little line, have a 2 to gold. I just came up with like a new product that we could sell exclusively to billionaires. Just like it's just cocaine, except It's got like 1% gold in it, and they'll pay premium prices for it because they're idiots.
Oh, fucking right they will. Yeah.
Like those 24 karat gold wings they have in what's the bar called?
Yeah, that's at the Standard, I think.
Jesus
the Ainsworth or the Standard?
Oh, the Ainsworth. Yeah. So what about that? So there is a bar. It's close by to our office here in New York, and they'll sell you chicken wings. I think it's 6 chicken wings for $100, and it's got gold actually in the sauce. How much gold is actually in that? They can't actually make you eat gold, right?
Well, or they can't, or they can. Like they're not making you telling it. It's your fucking choice to eat.
They kind of are. They're challenging me indirectly by saying like, "Hey, we've got the most expensive chicken wing in the world." They know I'm going to go order that chicken wing.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I think this is a true story. Did some rapper try to gold plate his balls and it ended up killing him?
I'm going to look that up.
I think that was in America, but I do think that happened. Yes,
happened. Yeah.
Gold plated balls rapper.
Now, why would that kill a man?
I bet I could pull it off. If I gold plated my balls, I wouldn't die.
So do you think there's actually as much gold in Fort Knox as they say there is?
It's tough to say, man. Like, I would hope so. Money was supposed to be based off of gold, right? Like, that's what money started out. Currency was based off gold in the safe. Like, the money is representative of the gold. We're just not going to pay with gold anymore. That's what it was always supposed to be, but it's not like that. I don't think.
Do you see the price of gold going up in the near future?
There's so many things that depend on that. But gold has always gone up. These last couple of years have been great. If I'm being honest with you, COVID, something like COVID, like that uncertainty and like panic, like gold spikes. In last year, gold hit the highest price it's ever been. Like we had the highest gold prices, and that's good for business. I had a good year last year.
So you're rooting for ultimate chaos. For you, that means that's profit time, baby.
And yeah, because at the end of the day, like the people that know that gold will always have value. And yes, in chaotic times when who knows what else will have value, gold's the best bet.
Do you see Bitcoin as a threat to gold's supreme as an asset in those times?
I'll be honest with you. I don't really know. I don't know shit about it. And I kind of think it's stupid.
Yeah. It's very similar to mining for gold. You plug a computer in for an extended period of time and then you just wait.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, Big T, you have anything else?
I think that's about it.
Okay, cool. You have any more questions?
Yeah, I don't. And forgive me if this had already been asked, but recently there were talks of minting like $1 trillion coin. Is there any way we could mint because of what the government ran out of money? Is there anything we could do with gold as opposed to making up $1 trillion coin that could just fix, like maybe like a giant like gold rope Biden could wear just to flaunt our wealth?
Well, that's a way better idea, because what the fuck is $1 trillion coin? Like, who decides that that's worth $1 trillion?
Exactly.
If that thing would be fucking, I don't know, it's bigger than this fucking room.
I kind of like the idea of the wreath, the huge chain, the golden chain, because our leaders don't have enough regalia these days.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's no crown, there's no scepter, there's nothing like that. Do you own any gold jewelry?
I actually have, I own one piece of jewelry, and I had it made out of gold that I dug out of the ground. It is the most obnoxious 5-ounce gold ring you've ever seen.
Can we see it?
What? 10
right.
seconds. Not
Hell yeah. I'm excited to see this obnoxious ring.
Could you imagine if Biden was like Doctor Strange? He had like this gold chain like that.
He's just got a grill, the presidential grill.
Trinidad James, all gold, everything.
Yeah.
So this is 5 ounces of gold.
Oh, damn.
Oh, wow.
It's heavy as fuck, and I wear it on my middle finger, and that's what it says on it.
Wow.
Hell,
That is the coolest piece of jewelry ever. You look like you could tenderize some meat with that. Like get a steak out of ribeye and pound that thing flat.
Oh yeah, like I actually get shit at airports. They try to say it's a weapon because it's so big, but it's like you got to praise that 15 grand. Like if I'm gonna punch somebody, I'm gonna take it off first, probably.
That's awesome.
You hit someone, it just says "suck it" as an imprint.
Yeah, you should actually have it. You should have it backwards on, like it should be engraved backwards on the piece of jewelry, so that when you punch somebody, it leaves the stamp that you can read that says "suck it."
The funny thing is I actually thought about that, and I went with it this way. Because it's makes more sense when I look at it, but also if I punch somebody in the head, I don't want everybody else to read it. I want that guy to look at the mirror.
Yeah.
And be able to read it.
Good point. That's 100 IQ play. Actually, that'd be 200. 100 IQ is not really that smart. That's a smart move on your part. Also, if you have a piece of jewelry that is written backwards so that it will leave a mark on somebody when you punch them in the head, you're probably going to be punching a lot of people in the head because you made that jewelry. You went through all the trouble to do it. You'll probably end up getting yourself into more trouble that way.
That would be a purpose-built piece of jewelry. Yes, that's a bad sign right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thanks for joining, man. We really appreciate talking to you. Learned a lot about gold today. Again, you can watch Rick on Discovery's #1 rated show, Gold Rush. Airs Fridays on Discovery and streaming on Discovery Plus. It's Discovery's #1 rated show. Is that true?
#1 for 12 damn years.
That's incredible. That's awesome. Well, good luck. I hope that you find a lot of gold in your future. And just check your poop every now and again. Just see if you're crapping gold.
I appreciate that. Thanks for that tip. I'll shoot a video of it. I'll send it to you.
Okay, sounds good, man. Take care, Rick.
Thanks. Cheers.
See you, buddy.
Thank you.
Rick Ness is brought to you by our great friends over at Sport Clips. Big T, you're a big Sport Clips guy, right?
Love Sport Clips.
You get your
MVP
haircut there?
every time.
You get the MVP experience, the hot steam towel.
Love the hot steam towel.
That's the best part. I mean, they are the pros when it comes to cutting men's hair. Sometimes cutting men's hair is actually more difficult than cutting women's hair. Did you know that, Big T?
Oh, yeah.
If you have a cowlick, if you have a patchy beard.
That's me,
if you're-
Alec.
Yeah, I got the patchy beard. If you're finally wanting to grow out that mullet, or if you just need a style that works every day, whatever your need is, just go to Sport Clips Haircuts. It's not your grandma's hair place. Sport Clip stylists are experts in men's hair. Like I said, cutting a man's hair can be harder than women's hair. Sport Clip stylists are specifically trained to cut men's hair. They know the tips and tricks for making sure that guys get the best cut to suit their facial shape, hair texture, and lifestyle. Remember, you can go to grandma's for the holidays, but not where she cuts her hair. Sport Clips, they are the pros in men's hair. All right, that was Rick Ness from the Discovery Channel from Gold Rush. Great show. Good guy. Glad that he came on. I learned a lot about gold mining. What about you guys?
As well. It was very interesting to hear that they found mammoth bones.
Yeah. Billy's eyes got so wide when he heard that.
If I could have a mammoth skull with 2 huge tusks.
Dude, I told you I have a mammoth tusk in my house in Virginia, and I have a mammoth molar.
Yeah, but you don't have a skull with 2. I want to get a serious. Honestly, you know what would be really cool? A mounted mammoth head.
Yeah.
$10.
You can probably
You know what
get
I'm
one
saying?
of those. It's probably fake.
No, but real tusks, maybe a real skull, but you fill in the rest.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
I can't believe he had the biggest nugget ever found on TV and he couldn't find it.
That's insane, isn't it? He just lost it in his house.
I just want that a ring similar to his.
The suck it.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
How about I get you a fool's gold ring if the Braves win the World Series?
Deal.
It says suck it.
Deal. That'd be awesome.
That was the biggest dude's rock ring I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was the size of brass knuckles. It covered up 3 of his knuckles.
Yeah, for sure a weapon. He was playing it off like it was not a weapon.
Yeah.
Big time.
All right, but that was cool talking to Rick Ness. Seems like a good guy. Hope he finds a lot of gold. I'm also curious to know what's the situation out when you're on a campsite with your entire party. Like, are there rules about who you're allowed to sleep with, that whole thing? Because there's guys and girls out there. I know that a lot of times when you go out, if they put people out to sea on like a ship going to work, you're not allowed to have sex because they can't have a baby out there if you're going to be remote. They can't like deal with medical costs and all that stuff. I just wonder what the bunkhouse situation's like.
I thought it was all dudes out there.
Is it all dudes? I think there's some women that go out there too.
Guess we gotta watch the show.
We gotta watch the show to find out.
I wonder if there's gold miner groupies.
Yeah, those would be pretty interesting people, I think. Don't mind a little stank. What's the showering situation like out
Probably
there?
terrible.
Yeah, probably pretty bad.
It's probably the same rules as space.
What are those rules?
I don't know.
Space
Just
rules.
spitballing.
Yeah.
Just spitballing. You know how like
Oh yeah, you're not allowed to have a baby on a spaceship. You can't. There's no sex allowed.
has anyone had sex in space?
They have to. right?
I guarantee it.
They have to have
I
had
mean-
sex in space. Why would you not?
It's probably a selling point.
Yeah. I mean, I know the rules are what the rules are,
Yeah.
and they monitor all your health signs, so they definitely know when you're banging.
It's like, yo, we could be the first ever.
Yeah. You have to do it at that point. All right, well that's gold. That's talking gold. You want to get some? We have voicemails.
We do, but before we get to voicemails, I have a personal question I want to ask you guys. If you got the ball, the 600th touchdown ball, what would you ask?
Oh, that guy should be
return
in
of the
jail.
ball? Yeah,
that
of
guy
course he
should
should be in
legit
jail.
be in jail. What an idiot!
Yeah.
Wait, the guy that gave it up, or the guy that bullied
gave it
him
up.
out of him?
No, that gave it up.
Why are they locking that guy up? That guy.
They did bully him out of that ball.
Yes.
You don't listen. You write your phone number down, hand it to him, and say you can call me tomorrow, and we'll figure it out. But you don't. There's no circumstance where you hand that ball over in that stadium. Zero.
Yeah, I agree
No,
with Big T, but I don't think he should be locked up for that. I think he was bullied on national television into giving up football that was literally worth its weight in gold.
Well, if you
No,
can,
guys,
if you
guys.
can be bullied, you're weak-minded
Guys.
in that situation.
Let's be real. That guy had no legal precedent to that ball.
You keep saying the word precedent.
What the fuck are you talking about, Billy?
Precedent means that there's case law that backs you up that says, okay, it's been proven in court.
Of ownership.
Yes.
He would get, basically what would happen is if he really held out, they'd be like, okay, he wants more than the legal fees we could spend to get this ball back for free once we
Billy,
settle
why do
it.
you think they could get it back?
Because it is team property.
No, it's not.
No, it's not once it goes into the stands.
Not after it's
Nope.
given
Nope,
away.
nope, that's not a law.
The precedent is the thousands of other memorabilia, like the Barry Bonds home runs. Like
Yeah, every
the precedent
baseball
is
that's
people
ever been
paid
hit
big
into
money
a
for these
stands
things
ever that's
before.
been owned by the
That's
person that
different.
catches
That's different. In
Why? No, it
football,
isn't.
in
That's the precedent.
No, you're
in
wrong.
The 1940 NFL championship game, that was 73-0. They used to have it. There was no kicking net to catch the balls. But they kicked so many touchdowns. They kicked so many extra points that game that they ran out of balls.
Okay.
So they had to go back into the crowd and get the balls back.
Okay. Now we're fast forward 60 years.
Just
It's a
look, I'll
game.
show it to you.
80.
Jim Nance.
Where's one
Jim
sec.
Nance
I'll
and
be right
Tony
back.
Romo are announcing a Buccaneers game on Sunday, and Tom Brady, an athlete who's the premier quarterback of a franchise worth northwards of $2 billion, who can't afford plenty footballs, they give one of those balls away, they can still continue the game. I don't know. Maybe it was the last ball. I don't know.
Happens to be a net as well.
There's a net also. I don't want to say that they for sure could have continued the game yesterday because I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that there was another football that they had that they could play with.
You know how I know it was that Billy's wrong? Because the guy was asking for it back.
Yes, exactly. They could have just taken it back.
Yeah.
there was no there was no secure. Like
Where
there
did
was
he
no
go?
pressure
He just
of,
left the studio to go. Where did he go?
I think he left the studio and then he started to panic because he realized he was wrong and didn't have any new facts to bring. So he's just going to pace around in the hallway for an extra couple minutes and then come back in and be like, I couldn't find it.
I'm picturing like Remember when Cam was on the Panthers? He would always go find a kid and hand him, like, I'm picturing the cops like breaking down these little kids' doors to get these footballs back because they've stolen property from the Carolina Panthers via Cam Newton handing them touchdowns. Like, that's what Billy's saying is the precedent.
Yes, it's workplace theft, Coley, when Cam Newton was doing that.
If Billy's right, the FBI is going to kick down Zach Campbell's door and just evict everything he has.
He's public enemy number one.
Yeah.
He is the Osama bin Laden of Major League
And he's just
ballpark.
flaunting it.
Yeah. All right, so Billy came back in, I'm sure, with lots of facts to support his case.
If he shows what I think he's going to show, I'm literally, it's the hardest I'm ever going to laugh in my entire
Okay,
life.
Billy,
I couldn't find what I wanted to find.
What you wanted was the football that had a 1 square inch Buffalo Bills logo on it. That's what you wanted?
That signifies that it's their property.
Oh my God.
No, it doesn't. It just has the logo. It has the team logo on it.
That's not the right one.
I know the one that you're talking about, the Buffalo
Billy,
Bills
they
one.
do that
But
because
what the
teams
like,
use their own balls. So that's why they put the logos on them.
I know where it is. I'm going to get it.
no,
Okay.
because that
Billy
is
is
a
convinced-
stamp
Billy-
of ownership.
no,
Billy, you know the baseballs that they use in Major League Baseball have the Major League Baseball logo on them, right?
Right, but they don't have the team logos.
But that
Oh my
means
God.
that it would
Oh my
belong
God.
to Major League Baseball.
I can't believe
I'm
hockey
just
pucks
saying.
have the team logo on
I'm just saying, if they wanted to get the ball back, they haven't before, but they could go through, say that is
So then
team
why were
property
they asking him to give it back?
because
It's not team
it's
property.
better than taking him to fucking court.
It's not team
You-
property.
Billy.
Contains contains FCC ID XWXUWT. There's information on here.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my
He's got the
God.
documents, PFT. What more do you
It
want?
Okay,
probably
contains-
stipulates.
FCC ID, but you don't know what the fuck that means, Billy.
Right,
just,
but it
Billy
probably
just saw
means-
letters and numbers and was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
it's
but
all
you're telling
right.
me that
all right
that
here.
doesn't have some sort of representation of a log of
Hold on,
that
PFT,
exact
read off
ball.
the ID.
Okay.
Read off the ID.
All right, here's the ID. This is FCC ID XWX dash UWT 1400. That's the FCC ID.
FCC ID is a unique identifier assigned to a device registered with the United States Federal Communications Commission.
Okay, so this football is registered with the FCC.
We're still
guess
using
it
fucking
is.
chains to measure a first down.
That's
And the
unbelievable.
balls are registered
if
with
it's
the
fucking
FCC.
registered,
Billy, that's not what that means, buddy.
but if it's no, this is like this would be so easy of a case to argue that ball is
Oh
not
my
that
God.
fan's property because it's not fucking Mike Evans' property either to give away.
Mike Evans is part of the team.
Right, but
That
he's
owns the
not
football.
doesn't own the team. He doesn't own the ball. I'm just saying it's not fucking crazy to assume that ball in the court of law, like in a
Well,
so we're assuming.
hold on. The patent isn't for the ball. It's for a tag on the ball.
it's not a patent.
Excuse me. The FCC ID is the product assigned by the FCC to identify wireless products in the market. It is literally just a tag on the ball. It's not the
Right,
whole
but I'm
ball.
just saying
Wait, so
that there's a lot
literally
more.
There's a tag. There's a chip inside this ball right now.
That's what it's saying. which
I
we
think
may
they
have just-
I actually do believe that they started using shit like that for like the Amazon Web Services. Like this player ran X
Mhm.
amount of. I do think there are some sort of chip in the balls now.
The thing is,
Or we've just cracked the case on a Buffalo Bills cheating scandal.
no. But it's just there's stuff in that ball that like is owned by people, and that ball is owned like it's not
Why do
Billy.
you think that?
because these types of disputes have been happening for thousands of fucking years. Abraham Lincoln was a lawyer and he settled disputes of ownership. Like the
Not
story,
over a football
Yeah,
that was
but
thrown
it's
into the
very-
stands.
If you don't think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could hire a lawyer team to get the ball back, then you're a fucking idiot.
Okay,
Because
but
that's
in the
what-
meantime, if I'm the fan, I'm holding on to the ball.
Right. And then the more you demand, the more the cost of stuff you can get for free because they want to be nice. And then it's like, oh, you want $500,000? Well, the legal fees are only going to be $100,000, so you're fucking out
So
of
why?
here.
How come our pal Ken Golden over at Golden Auctions? How come his entire operation hasn't been shut down for selling all this stolen property?
But the thing is, it's different. Like catching a
Literally the
Why?
exact same.
Okay, so catching.
They could not be more equivalent.
Okay.
Every NFL football has that exact same number on the sticker, so I'm assuming it's
It's a chip.
a chip.
So I'm just saying, if you catch a baseball at a baseball game.
Billy acting like he cracked the code when he saw those numbers on the
I
side.
knew when he brought the football in what he wanted.
The thing is, I'm literally like the law in like there's probably lawyers out there.
Okay, go back. What were you saying about the baseball? You were about to say if you catch a baseball.
Did you find any of those auction off balls? They're all like who own? Do you ever see any of the people who catch the balls selling them to those auction companies?
Yeah, all the time. That's how they get them, Billy.
Without going through the team?
Yes.
They don't go through
That's
the team,
how they get them.
Okay,
Once you
show
catch
me an
it,
example.
you own it.
I know that in baseball it's much more common, but they don't pursue like something like this.
Yes,
the 600
they do.
ball they would pursue.
All right, how about that?
Billy,
how about this, Billy?
Zach Hampel, who we talked about when you were out of here, caught A-Rod's 3,000th hit as a home run. And the A-Rod and the Yankees had to beg him for weeks and I think months to get it back, and he wouldn't give it to him. He finally did. They gave him all sorts of shit and like a thing to charity and whatever. But they were
because it was probably at that point cheaper than the legal counsel that they could get to get the ball back.
Oh my God!
There's
If
no
they could have
legal precedent for them to sue.
Billy, that was one of the most important baseballs ever hit in the history of Major League Baseball. If they could have gotten it back,
What's the example again?
A-Rod's 3,000th hit.
Yeah,
Do you think like kayak sales in San Francisco went up when Bonds was approaching breaking the record just because they knew they could get sued by the team or because they could make a lot of money?
yeah, exactly. People were like, they were willing to risk it all. They were willing to die in McCovey Cove for that ball, and not because they wanted the privilege
A-Rod
of-
Yankees
of
settled
meeting
dispute.
Jeff Kent.
Yeah, because they wanted it back.
But
They
the
didn't
thing
have a
is, they
legal
get-
right to it. They
They
wanted
get
it.
lawyers to settle those disputes.
Billy.
No, they get lawyers because A-Rod's not on the phone bargaining himself with Zach Hampel.
Exactly, but those lawyers have. The thing is, someone
okay, Billy,
is going to.
here's a good question. What do you think happens like to a game-worn jersey if Tom Brady wanted to sell his game-worn jersey from yesterday? Would he have to sell that through the team, or is it his property?
I think
Well,
he
that's
has
a
to,
bad example.
Yeah, I
You
don't
have to-
actually
you have
like
to
that
buy
example.
it from the team.
He would have to buy it from the team for like $500. I think it's like
Right.
in the contract that you can buy your jerseys from the team.
Yeah, you could buy literally.
Yeah, there was
every
a
jersey.
deal. Under the deal, the Yankee there's legal precedent. That
Billy,
they could
no, they
easily
made
get
a
this ball
deal with-
back.
Billy.
Billy.
If I
That's
stole-
not what precedent means.
No, I'm just
Hold on,
saying.
Billy.
there-
Wait. If I stole your laptop, Billy,
yeah,
would you have to pay to get it back, or would the police just arrest me and give it back to you?
I think you just broke him.
Right.
no, I'm just saying you guys. The thing is, it's so much easier. Like these types of things happen all the time. Whose ball is it originally? So who owns the ball?
Okay, Billy, there are a lot of them that the teams never get back. Mark McGuire's.
because they don't pursue them.
Yeah,
You think Mark McGuire didn't want the home run he hit that set the single season record?
I think baseball is a little different.
I don't know because in
No, baseball is
football-
actually the most important thing that like people keep.
No,
those.
because baseball is
football-
different because there's a baseball law. There's legal press. Why am I saying that word? There's a baseball law that any ball that goes into play, you can't. There's like they actually have laws
You
that if you
can't
get
touch
hit
it.
by the ball, if you get hit by the ball, you can't sue. There's sort of gray area that they put to there.
Here's the thing, though. In football, Cam Newton has given balls away for years. Players have been giving balls away to fans in the stands for years. And not once has a team gone after that person and been like, hey, we need that ball back. So there is no precedent.
Right.
There's
That's
actually-
If they claim that they had a right to that ball, then part of that would be showing that you were defending that right to it and actually
Cam
taking
Newton,
action in the
they're
past.
not going to be assholes because it's a PR disaster if they're getting balls back from the kids that Cam Newton gets.
Billy,
to.
you're confusing them wanting it back with them having a right to have it back.
They do. I think.
right.
I think if you looked at it, they would have the right to take it back. That's what I'm
where
saying.
the me stealing your laptop thing comes into play. Because if they truly had a legal right, there wouldn't be negotiating.
They would just do it.
Call the police.
Because it's a better PR thing than calling the police on the guy who
No,
got the
because
ball.
their only legal right to getting it back. That's it. That's the only way they can't just go take it back.
I'm saying there's probably, if you're a lawyer and you're listening to this, please
Oh, I
send me
can't
something.
wait.
First of all,
to help argue my case.
excellent use of your billable time, lawyer, listening to this episode.
But there's probably people who deal with ownership, like title complaints with stuff all the time that are like, yeah, no, Mike Evans had zero right to give the ball to a fan, and he doesn't own it. There was no transfer of ownership of that ball to that fan, and it would be very easy to dispute.
I think that there's one person that we need to ask about this, and that's Mike Florio. lawyer and football guy, Mike. I'm sure he's got some takes ready to go on this one. Billy, I think that you're wildly incorrect. I think
I'm not wildly incorrect.
If somebody hands a fan a ball, they get to keep the ball if they want to. Now they can be asked in strong terms to give it back, and they could be bullied into it like this guy was.
But if they want to, I think they could take him to court and get the ball back.
Nope.
Why not?
Yeah, it's simply incorrect.
There's no precedent.
There's actually precedent the other way.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because they let it go that way.
In a landslide.
I don't think so.
All right, so Billy, we've established that Billy would give the ball back because he'd be afraid of getting arrested. Everybody else would be like, "Nope, I'm gonna hang on to this $500,000 ball."
I would have written my phone number down, handed it to somebody, and walked out of the stadium with it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like I feel like the guy is getting a lot of shit. He got a better deal than what Tony Romo said he would want. Tony Romo was like, I just want one date with Giselle. Like he's the guy on Twitter who's picking the dinner with Jay-Z over $500,000.
Yeah.
He did that on live TV and then had the nerve to be like, look at this idiot. All he got was,
by the way,
he get like $3,500 or something like that.
By the way,
also Tony Romo was like, hey, yeah, I would just want to fuck Tom Brady's wife. That's what I would want. That seems a little bit aggressive, doesn't it?
Yeah. That was
like you guys definitely know each other. You've met Giselle before, Tony Romo.
Right.
It's going to be very awkward the next time you guys hang out.
Yeah, everyone was too focused on giving this guy shit. Tony Romo had the worst idea ever, and everyone was just like, "Yeah, we'll get to that at a later time. We're still making fun of this guy."
All right, so Billy, I thank you for being an honest person.
I'm seriously the baseball example. I'm pretty sure that they classify baseballs when they're hit out of the stadium as abandoned, whereas if something is not put in, like it's still in the stadium, it's not abandoned. If it's handed by someone.
So what about when players catch the third out and they toss it into the stands? Then what?
Then it's abandoned.
That's the exact same thing.
That's precisely what just happened.
Same thing. No, Billy, what you're saying is the home run would be like a field goal that went over the net.
Right.
But when a player tosses a ball into the stands after the third out, that is precisely what a football player handing a ball to somebody.
I'm not crazy. This is totally has merit. I mean,
you're not crazy. You're just wrong.
I just think you're incorrect.
I'm not incorrect.
I get what you're saying. It's wrong.
I think they totally could legally go and get that ball if they want to.
If they would not be negotiating. Like
no, they're trying to be nice.
What reason do they have to be nice?
Yeah.
Over a ball that's worth
PR.
tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Because it's all PR.
All right. I don't think that we're going to budge Billy off this. That's fine. I like it when Billy's wrong about stuff.
I'm just saying, I don't even think I'm wrong.
I know.
I know. Property of the team.
I'm aware.
It's property of the team. They can get their property back if they wanted to. Most of the times, they don't want to.
All right, let's get some voicemails.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name's Chase from San Antonio, Texas. I'm calling in asking who controls the internet? Is there a central place that the internet is controlled? For example, when authoritarian countries restrict Facebook, how do they do that? Is there a central place where they control that? If so, where is that in the United States? Thanks, y'all. Love the show. Also, Big T, I think I could beat you in a whistle-off, specifically to Rocky Top. Thanks, y'all.
Okay. First of all, no, the fuck you could not. And secondly, Hillary Clinton controls the internet.
Give him a little taste of Rocky Top.
See you do that, bitch.
No, that was honestly very impressive. Really, he even put the little flourishes in there, the little runs.
No, I have. Yeah, don't fuck with me.
I guess I agree with Big T's answer. Hillary Clinton runs the whole thing.
Podesta's working too. She kept him on retainer.
Yeah, I'm sure John Podesta, a guy that couldn't beat Donald Trump in a presidential election is still pulling all the strings. Genius like that you have to have.
Oh, God.
Yeah, people like to be like, wow, I can't believe Republicans nominated Donald Trump. Well, at the same time, the Democrats nominated somebody who lost to Donald Trump. So that's pretty bad too. But the real answer to your question, I think, is countries, they just negotiate with the internet service providers, right? And they're like, you have to give us backdoor access to close this down if we want. I think that's what they say. Then there are the transatlantic cables, which are just mind-blowing. Just the longest cables of fiber optics you could ever imagine that go overseas from like the United States East Coast to Europe. And they're just laying underneath the water on the ocean floor. And fish are like creeped out by it probably. There's so much porn going back and forth underneath the water. You ever think about that? There's actual fibers, actual cables. I remember one time my job involved calling New Zealand in the middle of the night, and I wasn't able to do it because all the telecommunications lines that went across the Pacific Ocean, they got shut down or they got like chopped. Something hit one of them. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how the internet works. Anyone else? All right. Next question.
Hey, all you gorgeous people. This is Ryan, nurse from Baltimore. I know conspiracies have really been booming in the mainstream the last few years. So my question for you all is, if you could pick one conspiracy that would be right, that you could be right about, what would it be? Whether it be JFK was killed by the CIA, the Illuminati's real, or even if God himself is real or not. The last few years has really been tough on us healthcare workers, but listening to you all every week really does make the harder days a little easier. Love you guys.
All right, love you too. Thank you for being a nurse. Thank you for your service. Billy, would you like to thank him for his service?
Thanks,
Needs
bro.
more coming from Billy. My answer would be I hope that the mafia theory behind the JFK assassination was real. I hope that there were mob ties. That would just the amount of cool movies that would get made off of that being real would make it so worthwhile. I mean, Martin Scorsese, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to live another 30 years to make enough. You're going to have to make a trilogy of mob movies around the death of JFK if that ends up being what actually happened.
Mine is seemingly rather trivial, but I know for a fact I'm right about it. Stevie Wonder can for sure see. Like, absolutely no doubt in my mind. Anybody who hasn't heard Shaquille O'Neal's story, go listen to that. It's fantastic. Yeah, he can for sure see. So that's what I would want that proven.
He can also, it's not beyond the realm of possibility to think that he might not be totally blind. Like, even if he does have severe vision impairment.
Do you know what the Shaq story I'm talking about is?
I don't think I know that one.
He said they lived in the same building in Atlanta, and Shaq's on the elevator, and the doors open up, and Stevie Wonder gets on. He walks in and goes, "Hey, what's up, Shaq?"
I mean, there was a while back in the 50s where it felt like blind singers really that was a hot thing everywhere in America. We don't have any more blind singers, but back then you had, what was his name? Blind Willie. You had little Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles.
In Stevie's defense, if you're in an elevator with Shaq, I feel like he's one of those people that you just kind of know he's there.
Yeah, he's probably
his presence.
Yeah, he's probably filming a commercial at the time.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Shaq for Otis Elevators. That's what's really going down. Oh, hey, Shaq, what's up? Oh, how'd you know it was me? Crazy. What about you, Billy?
Billy's still trying to figure out
Billy's
this law shit.
Billy's sweating out the case law surrounding donated.
The thing is, you guys think, but it's literally team property.
If
Billy, we just had a nurse that spent the last 2 years of his life bringing people back from the brink of death, working to exhaustion, trying to help our fellow Americans, and you're over here still thinking about how wrong you are about footballs. Please respect the listeners.
Sorry.
If you're a lawyer and you would like to come on for 15 minutes next week, please do. Because
especially if you're a lawyer who's on Billy's side, I'd love to argue against that too.
Yeah, either way.
Because baseball is different, because there's literally a baseball law that they had to abandon. You keep saying
baseball law.
There's literally a baseball law to prevent lawsuits if someone gets hit with a foul
It's not
ball.
a law. They just print it on your ticket.
Law. Baseball law refers to the various civil statutes, local ordinances, and court decisions pertaining to the game of baseball institutions. Blue laws. Never wait.
It means they have to print on your ticket that you might get hit with a baseball and put a sign in the stadium.
They're not liable. It's like the
In a 1913 Missouri appeals court heard Crane versus Kansas City baseball and exhibition, a tort case where a spectator at the Kansas City Blues game who had struck and injured by a foul ball alleged the team had been negligent, but since he had chosen to sit in an unprotected area of the park, and even though tickets were generally available.
Yeah, so now they just tell you that. That's that law.
Also, I'm a little bit woke on the estimated prices for the football. That was like you had King Golden tell Darren Ravel $500,000. It seems like a guy like King Golden, whose entire business line is selling merchandise, would have an interest in making it seem like sports merchandise was really, really valuable, right? It's like whenever you hear about somebody buying a new NFT artwork thing, it's always, $3 million, and it happens to be purchased by a guy that runs an NFT website himself.
Right. It's always like you hear it a lot too with like, oh, this sealed copy of the original Super Mario sold for like $2 million. And it's just like, oh yeah, another video game company bought it.
So
okay.
In 1999, Mark McGwire's 70th home run sold for $3 million. I would argue that football, being the home run champion is like a big in American culture. That's a big deal.
Right.
I'd say it's pretty close though. Now, granted, I'm reading that like the ball isn't worth that much anymore, and this guy kind of fucked himself. But I'd say 500 is not an unreasonable estimate. I'd say even more than that, maybe.
It's like the home run thing, like you were saying, was such a mark that stood time. Brady being, I almost feel like whoever, like when Mahomes throws was 650 or whatever Brady ends up with, like when he breaks it, that ball will be because Brady didn't break anything. You know what I mean? He just set a new mark. It's like Bonds' home run breakers, both when he broke the single season and the Aaron one, like those were worth more than the next one he hit. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right. So
definitely worth more than a jersey for sure.
Coley, do you have a conspiracy that you hope is true?
Yeah, it's. I was trying to think of like one that had like bigger implications globally, but Magic Johnson not having AIDS is what I've settled on.
Yeah,
I still don't think he did. I still think it was a ploy to further globalize the game by having one centralized figure as opposed to splitting it between two coasts with the Celtics and the Lakers. I don't think they could have grown it forever that way. I think they needed just one central main character, which was Michael Jordan. I think once Larry Bird decided to selfishly construct a driveway for his mother and broke his back, and the Celtics top draft pick then proceeded to overdose on cocaine immediately, and it was the writing was on the wall that their run was ending. I think that's when the NBA concocted the idea like, hey, we have this problem happening with AIDS. We can be a forward-speaking figure with this. Magic Johnson historically signed one of the worst contracts in NBA history, a 25-year, $25 million deal. He needed to get out of that so he could make more money. And by being the face of HIV in America, I believe he was able to do that. And the NBA was able to grow and flourish behind Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. They grew in this country because no one cared about the Bulls. They didn't have any rivals. They didn't have any history really to speak of at the time. He was an easy guy to root for, and he brought it as global as anyone could. So that would be the one I would love to hear be actually what happened.
So that's interesting because I'd heard the Magic Johnson doesn't have AIDS thing, but the story I always heard was that he like had sex with a senator's daughter or something.
Yeah,
I've heard that too.
I think I might have brought that up.
Yeah,
on episode.
That's why he agreed to go along with it. But that one is interesting.
I was talking to, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to get him in trouble, but it's somebody that you may have heard of who's in the media that truly believes that that's exactly what happened. And he claims to have inside information. I may have already said his name the last time I said it. But it was interesting the way he put it forward, saying that they needed somebody to be the face of AIDS, HIV research, somebody that could attract a lot of money towards fighting the disease, and so they figured Magic Johnson, he's the best way to do it. Let's take advantage of this.
Would Fauci be involved?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he would have if he was
pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if Fauci is like Magic Johnson's point man? Like Magic Johnson has to check in with him once every month, make sure he's still being good, that he's still getting his checks.
I guess Fauci probably has been there that long, right?
Oh yeah, Fauci.
No,
What
Fauci,
if
that's
they're
how
in-
he made his bread and butter.
What if they're in cahoots?
Fauci was around
Wow.
during HIV.
Wow, a lot of dots starting to connect here.
Yeah, that would really implicate Ronald Reagan too. That'd be something, wouldn't it, Big T?
That'd be we're just tossing names in now that have no business being in there.
Well, I know Ronald Reagan was in charge of the United States response to AIDS.
Please, PFT.
Well,
No need to sell
It's just 1,000,000% true that Ronald Reagan was the president when it came to the first
I tell you what,
response to HIV/AIDS.
I'd be willing to for Ronald Reagan to have something to do with it if Fauci also did.
Okay.
That's a sacrifice. I'm willing to make.
You hate Fauci more than you love Ronald Reagan?
Oh,
But
by a
when did-
factor of 1,000. Not even remote. I wasn't alive when Ronald Reagan was, doing his thing.
Okay.
I'm being fucked by Fauci right now.
I understand the frustration with Fauci to a certain extent in that he has not been 100% right all the time,
or truthful.
But how could you be? Like, things change almost like on a monthly basis, especially when this was first getting started. I get why people would be frustrated, but I don't understand like somebody actively hating Fauci and thinking like he's the devil. He's like an old Italian man that's been studying germs for his entire life.
Well, there's
and now he's like a global force for evil.
Well, there's now pretty good evidence that he was being intentionally untruthful at certain points. I think that's very fair to say.
Do you think that there's ever a circumstance where you should be intentionally untruthful?
If you are the head of one of the biggest events in the United States that's occurred in the last Lord knows how many decades, no. Especially not under oath.
I know. I agree with PFT. Like he didn't do a perfect job, and the frustration is warranted. I also don't think he should be like, check out my new Netflix special. Like he's not a fucking stand-up comedian. Like how about it's fucking the same thing as Cuomo? Like you can't publish the book on how you defeated coronavirus when coronavirus is still running up the.
Remember when libs were calling themselves Cuomo-sexuals? That aged well.
None of those people lived in New York. To New Yorkers' credit, throughout the entirety of this, they were like, hey, we still hate this guy. Like no matter what nice things he's saying on the television, everyone from New York was like, no, this guy stinks. It was the rest of the country who was like, that's the next president. And every New Yorker was like, trust me, no, please do not do that.
There are people falling in love with the Cuomo sexual thing in retrospect is probably one of the more, I think at the time, I even thought like, this is really fucking cringy what people are doing right now.
Yeah, hang in there. It gets worse.
But
would you kill Fauci if you had the opportunity?
Of course not.
Okay. Of course, I wouldn't have expected, of course, not to be the answer.
No, I'm not going to murder anyone, although he has arguably murdered tens of thousands of Americans.
See, that's where me and you differ. Like, I can't, like, has there ever been a less enviable job?
No.
Than head of coronavirus? Like, I'd trade jobs with every coal miner, every, literally every job that's ever happened. I would rather have that than be the face of how we're dealing with coronavirus. Like,
he seems to be eating it up.
Well,
he seems to not mind at all.
I think Coley's right in that one of the things that he probably should have done a lot better is learned how to say no to stuff.
Right.
And to not, you don't need to be doing documentaries about yourself as it's happening. But he had people around him that were probably approaching him a lot, being like, hey, we'd like to do this project. And he probably said yes to way too many things. And it does give off an air of like, okay, self-importance. But Coley's right. Like that's been a pretty shitty job to be in charge of your nation's messaging about coronavirus.
Especially in the sense like what PFT was saying, it is like you can only base it off the information you have. So at the beginning, when he's saying certain things, it's based off the information he has. The second that changes and now he's perceived to be wrong, now people aren't going to listen to better. Like it was just never, he had to be perfect. And that's an unrealistic bar to hold anyone to, given the task. And that's the task he signed up for. I get it. That's what he dedicated his life
for me, he just needed to be truthful. And that has not been the case.
What do you think is the biggest thing that he's lied about? Like lied. Not gotten wrong.
The gain of
lied.
function research.
Okay. But isn't that still kind of up in the air?
I think it's pretty evident at this point that he was not being truthful.
The last I heard, that was still up in the air. There have been some people that say it's absolutely 100% true. I've read some stuff that says that it hasn't been. So
at a minimum, very, very sketchy.
You also have to think, like, what's the gain of not being 100% truthful in certain circumstances? There are obviously ways he could have been completely malicious and evil, but it's like, why show all my cards right now, especially if I do have people not believing everything I say? Should I empty the tank every time I speak?
Well, a lot of people who are speaking under oath to Congress have a reason to not show all their cards, but we still expect them to, because that's how it works.
For sure. There's also, most people speaking under Congress don't have a potential of like widespread panic at every word they say.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
All right, I'm looking up
bring
gain
back
of
a word. It was
function.
unprecedented.
Yes, it was. I'm looking up gain of function research. It's like Rand Paul saying, "Yeah, you were doing gain of function." Fauci saying, "No, I wasn't." So it's still
I see that the National
forth.
Institute of Health admitted that they did it.
Oh, NIH said the Wuhan experiments did not involve gain of function. That's what I'm looking at right now. Director Francis Collins.
In a letter to Representative James Comer of Kentucky on Wednesday, a top NIH official blamed EcoHealth Alliance, the New York City-based nonprofit that has funneled U.S. funds to the Wuhan lab, for not being transparent about the work it was doing. So maybe that they claim they didn't know about it, but that it was happening.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that we know. I've never heard Fauci talking to me like, this motherfucker is lying 100%. I've been like, well, what he says is not the Bible. Like, he's still figuring it out, just like everybody else is. So he can be wrong.
At the very beginning, when he was like, no, I don't think we need masks, and every image you saw out of China was, and granted, it's a culture that's always embraced masks for any kind of sickness. But you look there and everyone's wearing masks. It's like, I feel like they're probably going to change their tune on this. And then they did. So again, lying, like murdering tens of thousands of people, like all that feels tough to put on one person, whether you like the guy or not.
And there has definitely been like a subsection of people that fell in love with Fauci. Just like they did with Cuomo. And it's like, this is just
Ginsburg, all that.
Yeah, it's just weird to fall in love with. Really, they're falling in love with what they hope the person represents to them. That's it.
Right. We don't know these fucking people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think no matter what, he's at the forefront, so he's going to take all the blame regardless. So if he's lying, he's lying to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if people are dying, people are blaming it on him.
I don't think that they're blaming deaths on him. They're more so the people that hate Fauci hate him because they have to wear a mask, like on a train or like at an airport. I don't think they hate Fauci because people are dying, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Suicide rates have skyrocketed in this country.
I could be wrong. Okay, so but are you more frustrated
people
with
have lost their jobs, people have lost their homes.
What about the people that died though, like actually from the virus?
Horrible.
But that's never the first thing that people bring up when they're pissed off at Fauci. And it seems like that should be, if you're actually mad about lying about like gain of function stuff, that should be the very first thing that you're pissed off about, is like, we've had 500,000 people die in this country.
Well, I think we all agree that they were taking measures to hopefully prevent that. But I think it went way too far and caused a lot of damage in the opposite direction.
Well, I think there was no... It was like he was trying to do one job and wasn't getting the other side to cooperate. And I don't mean right versus left. I mean, like, there was no... Trickle down's always tough in these conversations, but there's no trickle down to smaller branches of government for those people to take care of what they needed to. There was no, like, I remember early on, France was embarrassing us with how they were giving their citizens more than, how much did we end up getting? Like $1,300 from the government?
There was a $1,600 one and then a $1,200 one, right?
Yeah, so $2,800 for 2 years. And I believe it was like $2,400 a month in France. And now I don't know how long that lasted. But the point remains, they did do that for a point of time longer than the two checks people in this country got. So yeah, I get what you're saying with the lockdowns and stuff like that. But if there had been any cooperation from the government to actually help people, like, he was telling you what needed to be done, which I believe we have all seen, it was effective. But the fact that there was no cooperation to keep people inside and safe is where it's like, yeah, I can tell you the right thing to do. If no one's going to help me get there, then there's really no point in talking about it.
Yeah, I think if we had just paid everybody to stay home from work, that would have been nice.
That's it. And we've talked before about how we just print money and do shit like that. Like there was a way to get it done. Obviously, with now people are like, oh, the vaccine doesn't work. You see people every fucking day comparing it to goddamn seatbelts. It's all tiresome from every angle. Mm-hmm. The defiance in people is just like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. No one argues in good faith anymore.
No,
ever. It's exclusive bad faith arguments from everyone. And it's just like, if people would just shut the fuck up and have an actual conversation about what they truly feel, just not what would get people incited, then I think you could actually get some fucking things done. But if everyone's just going to constantly argue in bad faith, like, yeah, we're just going to keep sputtering in the mud.
Now, that being said, I really did like the Stephen Colbert vaccine song that he did with all the dancing syringes the other night. That, to me, really brought our country together. Did you see that, Big T?
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
That was...
Boy, you talk about someone who has really, I mean, just absolutely fallen off. Stephen Colbert, my goodness. He used to be funny.
I didn't even know what that was supposed to be, honestly.
I mean, he used to be genuinely funny.
Yeah.
And he's just, my God.
Cashing checks.
Tough. Good for him. You know, I hope that apartment on Central Park West is treating him well, but.
He's a big Republican. He's got a portrait of Ronald Reagan, your boy, in his office.
Is that true?
Yeah. I actually don't know if he's Republican, but he's like a...
No, he's a mega lib.
No, yeah,
he's from South Carolina, right?
I think he's...
Yeah, but he is...
I think he's actually middle of the road. Maybe...
I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe New York got the best of him. I don't know. Billy's been still stewing over here about the football. What else have you uncovered, Billy? Because you definitely haven't been thinking at all about what we've been talking about. No. You've just been looking at your computer and sweating.
There's a... When a baseball is hit into the stands, it is considered abandoned property.
Yes.
But what act of the football?
The literal giving it away.
Right, but that's different than abandoning.
So if
then we go back.
Outfielder
tosses it up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a lot more to this, and I don't have the facts, but they could easily... I'm just saying, if you don't think a team of lawyers couldn't get that football back from that guy...
Billy's in the stage of bargaining where he thinks that he should be right, but he realizes that he's not correct. So he's just mad at the world for not being...
I'm not mad at the world. I'm just so surprised that you guys don't think a group of lawyers with a multi-million dollar...
Why hasn't anyone done it?
Why haven't?
Because they got it back.
No, like for Mark McGwire's 70th home run that went for $3 million. Why didn't they go get that?
Because there's a specific sentiment in baseball where once the ball is hit into the crowd, it is considered abandoned equipment.
So why don't you think that exists when someone gives a football away?
Because I don't think that that was a precedent said, because there's so much baseball litigation, because people getting hit by foul balls and hurt, that they don't want responsibility for those balls. Because if they did, then people getting hit in the head, foul balls, bad stuff, they're held liable to those balls going to the crowd. Right. Anyway, we can stop, but I just can't believe you guys are just so close-minded to the fact that that could be true.
Well, no, let me ask you this. In 2004, the Red Sox won the World Series.
You see, this is all baseball.
Hold on. I haven't even gotten through my setup yet. 2004, the Red Sox won the World Series. It was a big deal. The final out was caught by Doug Mankiewicz, the first baseman. Mm-hmm. He did not throw it into the crowd. He put it in his back pocket. The team asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, I got it. It got authenticated by the league. He had it. He held on to it. The team wanted it back. They couldn't get it back. He was not a fan. The ball was not abandoned. Why didn't this team of billionaires, sue a guy who made probably like 20 million career dollars?
Did they not get it back?
No.
Why was the ball special? Because it was the last out?
Because they won the World Series for the first time in 86 years.
Yeah.
I just don't think the baseball might not apply here.
Okay.
I don't think that's too crazy, because every example has been baseball.
Yeah,
this one has this
a lot
one
of which was brought up by you.
This one wasn't a fan. This was a player.
I know.
I guess it's property of the team, according to you.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Next question. We have another voicemail.
Sorry.
It's Max from Indiana. My question for you guys this week is, if you got to choose how the world ended, how would you want it to go? Yeah, I love the podcast. Arian, Maddie, you guys are gorgeous. Everyone else, you guys are handsome. Love the show. Keep it up, guys. You're doing great.
It's a good question. I've thought about this before, actually. Best way for the world to end. I think a giant tidal wave would be pretty sick. It's over like that instantly. It probably looks chill as hell when it's approaching you. And it gives you enough time to just be like, well, this is it. And you know for a fact that there's nothing that you can do as it's approaching you. I think I don't know. I think that would be a nice way for the world to get just completely destroyed.
We wouldn't have much time.
No, we wouldn't be over fast.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
That's not a bad one. That's a gigantic wave you're talking about.
Big wave. I'm talking like massive, massive wave. Not just a tsunami. I think those are terrifying, actually. The ones that they actually have in Japan. I'm talking about like a giant, huge 70-foot tall or 70-story tall wave that just smashes into us.
Well, that's going to suck.
Why? Well, of course, you're going to die. Everything that you know, the world is going to end, so that's not great.
If the world had to end, but like perfect scenario, aliens come, they're like, we're going to delete your planet. We're going to give you a month to live, but we're going to make sure that all of your infrastructure remains. So somehow
it's the purge.
But it's not the purge. They somehow are able to let everyone just party and live out their last days without it turning to chaos, but more of just like a rave.
Well, yeah, obviously, like, yes, if there were a way to have the world end, but also have it be the best time ever by these new space rules, then yes, I agree with that. Aliens come, they let you party and rave for a month, then they delete you, and also they give you new drugs that you don't even know exist yet.
They pump drugs into the world so that purge doesn't happen.
Yeah, you just have a massive party.
Yeah,
for a month, and then you don't feel a thing.
Yeah,
that's a much better answer.
Would you, in that scenario, would you want a month knowing that the world was going to end in a month, or would you rather it just end right there?
I would want the month.
I don't think I would.
Tie up some loose ends. You'd say just do it to me now.
I couldn't. That month would just be spent with such an existential dread.
No, but the drugs take that away. Take the edge off. Just let you live out your bucket list.
You would definitely
do drugs, Billy.
You would want it now, though, with your Braves.
Yeah, actually, I want the world to end. I want the Braves to sweep the Houston Astros, and then on Saturday, right after the Braves win the World Series, the world just engulfs into flames, and that's it.
Yeah, you guys remain champions for the rest of time.
Eternity.
It's a worse ending than Game of Thrones. That would stink. I would want the month just because like we could figure that out. Like I don't know who these big tough aliens are that we can't. We don't have a month to game plan. We got Belichick with 4 weeks. We can't game plan to beat these aliens. That's too pessimistic for me. But I do like the idea of a 7 billion person Molly overdose taking us all out. That seems like a pretty good time.
That is a good plan. Yeah, good job, Billy. Avery.
Rangers win the cup, and then we get hit with a comet. Whole Earth just explodes.
Okay. I like that. I'm still going to stick with the alien rave. I think I would really enjoy that month. You'd really prioritize a lot of stuff. Priorities would become crystal clear in that month. And you just realize all the stuff that you don't actually care about. I would still watch sports. I would still if the world's ending in a month and the NFL playoffs are never going to start, I'd still be refreshing the playoff picture. And be like, wow, I can't believe the Bengals still have the 1 seed right now.
I was just going to say, today. Man, the Bengals are really getting fucked here.
Yeah. I would still be really interested in who's in the hunt. Well, okay, what are the next 6 weeks like on the Washington football team schedule? Oh, wow, we end the season with 5 straight divisional games. That's crazy. I would care about all that inconsequential stuff still, but I think, I don't know, during the week, actually, I'd probably just do exactly what I do right now. I don't know if I'd even participate in the rave. I'd be like, I wish I was younger so I could do this apocalypse rave that all the kids are up to. be completely foreign to me. All these TikTokers and their ecstasy things. All right, we good for today? All right, that does it for macrodosing. That was a nice, clean little 3-hour sode. Glad that we got to talk about some gold. Glad we got to make a new friend. Thank you guys for listening. Arian will be back next week, and we're doing nanodosing on Thursday. Mini dosing.
Nano.
I was actually thinking about this last week, and I don't know if it had come up before. What about snackrodosing? Just a little snack size episode.
Ooh, that's good too. Snackrodosing is.
Where was that 3 weeks ago?
Listen, my brain works when it works. I don't have any say over what's going on over here.
I like it, Coley. We'll do this Thursday. Will be snackrodosing on chapter 4. Chapter 4 of The Art of War. So we're doing the Aaron Rodgers book club again on Thursday. Tune in for that, and we will see you guys there. Love you guys.